I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Well, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers. Then I hit my quota, and my train of thought is more a locomotive. Talking reason for it, I got locomotive. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit. I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist. Try not to change, but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up, they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exists. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing steady, growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view to some window pane. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick. I'm always angry, yo gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know.
And good evening to everybody. Hey, let me get this mic up a little closer to my mouth. I hope y'all can hear me clearly, and I'm not distorted. Shout out to everybody who's here tonight. It's a slow day in the transfer portal, but we're still here. We still have to put out some information, and we can have an open conversation about transfers, about anything you guys want to talk about. I've been putting out a video a day on my TikTok about the NFL draft, and I got people fiending for me saying, hey, Rico, can you tell me about my team in the NFL draft? Can you tell me how we did in our draft picks? I just want to let everybody know I am going to break down every single draft class. By the way, Ash is making an early appearance. I am going to break down every single draft class from every NFL team, but I'm only doing one a day. And that's very important to me that I only do one a day. We'll drag it out for a month. I don't care. Everybody say what's up to Ash. She's right here. She just wants to say hi. She's loving everybody. Hey, mamas. Yeah? We're going to talk some sports for a couple hours, okay, baby girl? Yeah. This is the mascot of RicoKnows, if you didn't know. We do have a pit bull. She's ready to eat meat. You know, hide your kids. No, she's not violent. She's the nicest little dog in the world. What about free agents? I'll be getting to the chat here shortly. I did a 20-minute discussion right after the draft about my favorite undrafted free agents. It's here on YouTube. You guys can find it. It's listed under live streams, not the videos. Go to live streams. So when you go to the homepage and you're searching for my content, yes, there are videos there. But if you ever want to see me talk for extended periods of time on a particular topic, check the live streams. And I think I did a live stream on the undrafted free agents I cared about. I actually did my all undrafted team. So I talked about quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties. And, you know, I went down at every single position group. So you can go take a look at them. Now, I made it really early. So I didn't even know what teams they were all signing to. Some of the contracts were still being ironed out. But it's there. And we can talk about it again in passing as we go. It is what it is. Nonetheless, until she sees you in the backyard. I hear you. What up, E? Good to see you, brother. Hey, I was just sitting here, and I was just reminiscing on something. And what it is I was looking at what's trending. I'm going to pull it up here, guys. I'm going to shrink myself and fix the screen. And before I get into the transfer portal, I'll be talking about what's trending in sports every single day. That's what we're going to start with, and then we'll go from there. So when I pull it back up, what's trending today in the world of sports? Well, in the world of our sports, if you guys don't know, we are a very Colorado Buffalo friendly page, And if you see here, it says Chance Main. He says, I'm coming home, unfinished business. You got it. I told you guys, Chance Main would probably be here. I thought there was a lot of depth. I wasn't sure if he was afraid of the depth, if he was afraid of the competition, but it looks like he's not. So Chance Main has committed to Colorado. This is ridiculous, guys. When you look at a defensive line and everybody talks about the depth that you need, this is the 15th. I repeat, the 15th transfer portal commitment on the defensive line. We're talking edge, defensive line, defensive end, whatever you want to call it, defensive tackle. I don't care. Front seven, 15 guys. 15 guys. So they're all competing. Now, this is a graduate transfer, 1 year of eligibility left. He will be in the rotation. He will be on the field. This enables some of your younger guys to actually redshirt, right, and save a year of eligibility. Everybody in the recruiting class is redshirting for sure, no matter what. These are very developed, physically developed men. I think he can play on the inside and back up Cokes. I think this guy can do it all. So he's a quality young man, works hard, and for him to see the competition and say, you know what, I can step to it. He showed up this weekend, and this weekend's visiting class. If you see here, I'm pulling it up on this Excel spreadsheet I created for the visit, and if you see, and you probably can't read it, I don't know how clear it is on your device, but over here we've got one defensive lineman. You know what? I can scroll roll. There we go. I got you guys. So Tommy Durje, I'm going to talk about him later. Tommy Waugh, he did not come to Colorado. He came on the visit, but you see where it says visiting West Virginia? He chose West Virginia. Shout out to him and pursuing his dreams. I thought he was the number one recruit that we should look for. It didn't happen. But Bishop Thomas came along with the ride. So there's one from this weekend's visit. There's Reggie Young. That's two from the visit this weekend. He'll be a starting tackle for the team. Arden Walker coming back home after being a state champ in high school 2 times. Went to Missouri, played some football there, and he's back. Still waiting to see what Demi Sumo does, right? He's still taking trips. Javon Antonio, 6'4", 220-pound wide receiver. Need him as a deep threat. Didn't get him yet. He still has other trips and other offers. UConn and BYU are looking at him. And then Landon King. Didn't get him. He went to Utah. I wrote it here. Auburn, Cal, Utah, Pitt, Louisville. He's from Beaumont, Texas. I wrote he's a weapon. But I also wrote a 9 over here. You see this 9 on the far right? That 9, this 9 right here, is my belief that he would not come to the program. And there's Hawkins, J.J. Hawkins, his real name is Jabron, Zach Blackwood, and Chance Main. So all these defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive linemen commit from this weekend. Don't tell me they're not deep at defensive line. I don't want to hear it anymore. So shout out to Chance Main for making his dreams come true, coming back to school, finishing what he started. Shout out to Coach Prime for getting more depth. It's important, and I need you to relax. And remember this, I'm going to get to the chat, but whenever you say off topic, don't worry about it. We're on topic. It's never frowned upon. We need your questions. You guys, your questions drive the show. I come in here, I will talk about 4 or 5 things that are trending in sports. Then I'll talk about the transfer portal. And on a light day where the transfer portal doesn't have many transfers, then it's on you guys to keep the show going. This can be a 30-minute episode or this can be a 2-hour-long conversation. You figure it out. You guys drive what we do. So the more questions you ask, the longer we'll be here, and that's good. But only ask it once. When I get to chat, I only want to see it once. Don't spam me the same question thinking I'm not going to get to you. I'm going to get to you eventually, okay? So, Chance Main coming to Colorado. Pretty big deal. Shout out to him. By the way, if that's his girl in this photo, he's punching above his weight class. I'm going to tell you that right now. If that's his girl, he's doing all right because she looks decent for a white girl. Anyways, next piece of news that I care about. Chomp 2.5 is coming out. It's coming out on the 12th, y'all. What's today's date? The 11th? It's coming out tomorrow at midnight. Chomp 2.5. If you don't know what Chomp is and you don't know who Russ is, Russ, R-U-S-S. Russ Vitale, that's his last name. And Russ is an independent rap artist that I listen to. He's got more songs than the Beatles. Russ is out there putting out music. He puts out a new song every week, essentially. That's what he did on SoundCloud for 2 years. I've been a Russ fan since 2016. We're in 2023. It's been 7 years of greatness. I got to tell you this. But when he puts out a Chomp album, he's here to eat. He's here to eat. It's strictly bars. He's rapping. This ain't R&B. This ain't no love music. This is just spitting bars. Usually has some features on there. His last Chomp 2.0 was great. This one's going to be short, maybe 2 or 3 songs. The Chomp 3.0 is going to be a full album, like it always is. But when you talk about bar for bar, I'm telling you right now, all the Russ Chomp, go find Russ Chomp 2.0 and just hit play. And just listen to him destroy Jada Kiss. Just listen to him destroy Game. Listen to him bar for bar with Papoose. If you're a rap fan, you know what I'm talking about. But go listen to Russ 2.0, and then you'll be excited about 2.5. So shout out to Russ. That's trending in my world. I'll be buying it. You know what? I do buy music, y'all. I don't just stream it. I'm an old head, but I got money. I buy my music. I support my artists. I don't care. So I want you to know I will be buying this. It'll come out at midnight tomorrow. I might even stay up late just to get it and then listen to it. So yeah, shout out to Russ. Next, is Jamie Foxx dying? Is this fake news? I need to know. I'm just joking. I really don't care. They said he's unstable and not in a life-threatening condition, according to People. According to People magazine. Hey man, Jamie Foxx, for me, was he one of the best running backs ever? Or was that Bill Bellamy? Jamie Foxx, great actor, a lot of talent, can sing, make great music, hilarious, great voice impersonation. And if you're a part of my age bracket and my childhood, this is one of the most talented men out there. Great movies and acting. Shout out to Jamie Foxx. I hope he's okay. I wouldn't know. I don't dig that deep. I made a video about this earlier today. Holly Holm and Mayra Bueno Silva. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm tired of Holly Holm headlining UFC events. She just signed a 6-fight contract right before her last fight night, main event. I'm tired of seeing her on the poster, guys. This is the most boring fighter in all of UFC MMA. Yeah, I get it. She beat Ronda Rousey. Yeah. No one else was fighting MMA for so many years. There was very few female fighters, very few skilled fighters. So Ronda was out there winning a lot. Reminds me a lot of Tito Ortiz back when he was winning. Like, Tito Ortiz was not one of the best fighters on the planet. Just other fighters were doing other things. Right? If you're doing other things, it doesn't make you the best. It's like nobody else is doing it, bro. You guys don't remember our softball team in the Olympics? They had to discontinue softball in the Olympics because our softball team never lost. Because we're playing softball and nobody else is. Right? Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're the best at it. No one else is doing it. Once everybody starts doing it, now you're not the best anymore. Because more and more people start doing it. Right? You really think these guys at Frisbee golf are the best Frisbee golfers in the world? If people woke up every single day and started playing Frisbee golf, they'd be better. So once the women in this world stopped doing gymnastics and stopped doing some other sports, and they started applying themselves to MMA, all the kickboxers in the world, it's not just some judo, jiu-jitsu, armbar specialist. Yeah, Ronda Rousey became irrelevant. Well, guess what? Holly Holm? Not it, bro. They're going to put her in some Hall of Fame someday. They're going to be talking about how great she is. The most boring fighter out there. I promise you. I don't want to pull up the stats. But she has fought 5-round fights. And she goes the distance every time. And I'm telling you guys, she fights forever. She just out there just two-piecing people up, throwing combos against the air, wasting my time. There's nothing exceptional about Holly Holm. I cannot stand watching. I will not purchase anything. Now, she's the main event for a fight night in July, so it's free. But I might just go take a piss break during that fight and hopefully miss it. Now, I can't piss for 25 minutes. But every time you fight in the main event, it's a 25-minute fight. She's guaranteed to go the distance every time. Her last fight, she went okay. But somebody go look it up, man. In all her 5-round fights, I promise you, she's like 2-6 or 2-5. I got to watch this girl fight for 25 minutes at a time just to lose. It's the worst. And then when she gets up to the podium, what does she say? Not the podium. When Joe Rogan enters the ring to interview her, or Bisbing, because it's always a fight night for free, whatever. When they interview her, what was her last win? She said, let's do this for the kids. Let's stop the sexual exploitation for kids. Let me tell you something. I totally agree with what you're saying, lady. But I don't need to hear it from you. You're an MMA fighter. Just go beat somebody up. Go fight. Be better at that. Be better at your job before you start telling us what we need to do with our kids. I got kids. I don't want nobody telling me how to raise them or how to protect them or keep them safe. You think anybody disagrees with you? You start saying we need to protect the kids and stop the sexualization of kids. We need to get all the pedos out of here. You think anybody disagrees with you? It's like when I read a dating profile and a girl writes, my kids come first. I go, what? Who the hell disagrees with you? Who are you writing to? Is there somebody out there who's like, yo, kids come second? So I don't like to hear Holly Holm talk at all. I don't want to see her press conference. Somebody beat her so I don't have to hear I hope one day, after one of these losses, because she's on a 6-fight contract, okay? So theoretically, first and foremost, she's fought 3 times in the last 3 years. So this 6-fight contract might last 3 years. That's number one. Or 6 years. I don't even know how long it's going to last. But I hope one of these losses, she just takes them gloves off and just leaves them on the canvas, y'all. Just leave it in the octagon. I don't want to hear or see you again. Just go. Just go. We don't care. Leave the gloves in. It's real. Okay? So shout out to Holly Holm for being the main event in July. No one wants to watch. And Stephen A. Smith. Before we hit the chat and the transfer portal, Stephen A. Smith, he was talking smack about Anthony Davis having a concussion. And he was on TV. And he started laughing and joking. And he said, oh, he had a concussion? I'll be damned. He was laughing and all this stuff. Now, look, I've had many concussions in my life. Playing football, fighting in MMA, training, all kinds of things. I've been in the Army over 20 years. We have a lot of traumatic brain injuries. We have a lot of head impacts, high-velocity impacts. You name it, we have concussions. Concussions are kind of a thing, man. I once had my head go through a window in a car accident. My twin brother was in the car, and so was my childhood best friend who was in the car as well. And I was a kid, man. I had to be 18 years old. And I was driving, not paying attention, and I got T-boned by another car, a Honda Civic. I was in a Toyota Celica. This Honda Civic came and hit me on my driver's side door. Pushed in the door, and my head went through the window. Hit me on the door, my head went through the window. Had a definite concussion. Concussions ain't a joke, bro. CTE's not a joke. Basketball players getting concussions, I know. It's the worst. It's hard to tell because they flop all the time. So if you catch an elbow, it can happen, but maybe you're just being dramatic. But what I don't like about Stephen A. Smith in this particular instance is you were on TV talking smack about this concussion, laughing and joking. And then you got blowback, is what he said. Quote unquote, blowback is blowback. He got some backlash. People attacked him for it, for marginalizing concussions. For kind of just making fun of the concussion thing. So he puts out an apology on Twitter and he says, blowback is blowback, comes with the territory, peeps. I was in no way minimizing the seriousness of a concussion. I was questioning whether Anthony Davis really had one, considering the play I saw and other hits I've seen him absorb. But bottom line is, I was wrong. It was wrong for me to do so, right? And you can see, I can hit show more. See what the show more says. Because I don't want to misquote him. It was wrong for me to do, period. And then he wrote, my bad. Here's my issue with this, quote unquote, apology from Stephen A. Smith. Bruh, you said it on camera. You were on TV making fun of a man with a concussion. The apology has to be on TV. The apology has to be equivalent. You can't make an apology on Twitter. That doesn't suffice. Put your face on TV, get out there, and apologize. That's all I'm saying. Like, match that same energy. Don't flip. I'm quoting Russ in every single song, just so you guys know. But that's what I have a problem with. And this girl says, I'm the thickest 18-year-old on Twitter. Where's this coming from, bro? I don't. Who's replying to these tweets? Who's replying to these tweets? Ben Affleck and Jen argue. Come on, bro. They look hammered. We're gonna get off it. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith for not knowing how to apologize. You got to do it on TV. All right, before we get into the transfer portal, I'm going to go to the chat first. I'm going to let you guys drive chat for a little bit. Any questions you got, any comments, concerns, you can put it in here. Then I'm going to go hit the transfer portal. If we run out of comments and questions, we run out of transfer portal, we're done. But talk to me, guys. Talk to me. All right, here we go. What's the word? What's the good word, Rico? Shout out to you. Hey, Pot of Coffee. I've never seen you before. Welcome to the show. Sound is good. Maybe I have seen you before. Did you change your name? It's a new person up in here. Kim, good evening, Rico. Shout out to Kim Jones. That woman is beautiful, just so you guys know. Colorado Bus for life. You sound good. Thank you very much. What about the free agent? Okay, you want to know about undrafted free agents, I'm assuming, right? GOAT 42, it is what it is. We will definitely talk undrafted free agents at some point. Oh, whoa, I missed Campbell at the very top. He wrote, Alton McCaskill IV, what type of NIL money will it take to land him, or is he choosing where he plays next based on other variables? Well, you know, Campbell, I think people don't understand. I think the number one variable for most players is long-term money. Long-term money. That is pro pedigree. Are you getting me to the league? Are you getting me drafted? And that's why Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia are so relevant, is because players, when they're looking for their school, they say, are you going to get me drafted into the league? This is why Georgia Tech is having such an upswing in talent, is because Brent Key has a known track record of getting people to the league, all right, as the former offensive line coach at Alabama. So when you're trying to pick a school, most recruits are looking for long-term money. Are you getting me to the league? That's the long-term. Then there's short-term money. That's NILs. Now, where does that fit in the comparison? Some guys will tell you, I need my NIL money. Well, that's short money. You can get that anywhere. That doesn't mean you're going to get to the league, right? Some people try to cash in even if they know they're not going to the league. I remember Austin Reed talked about it. Austin Reed, Division II transfer out of West Florida, showed up to Western Kentucky, quarterback, and he played great last year. And he said, hey, man, I can transfer to a Power 5 school. I can transfer to a Power 5 school and have an okay year. And if I have an okay year, I'm going in the 6th round. I can get good NIL money, but I'm going in the 6th round. Or I can stay here at Western Kentucky, throw for another 4,000 yards, because I'm guaranteed to do that, and I'll go in the 3rd round like Bailey Zappi. Long-term money. Long-term money. What they're valuing, though, is besides pro pedigree, is players are valuing offensive scheme or defensive scheme, right? They're valuing the scheme or the fit, the particular position coach or offense and defensive coordinator. All of these guys are in high priority above, I think, NIL. Now, maybe equivalent. I could be naive. Some people could say, oh, you're so wrong, Rico. But I don't think I am. I see a ton of star players going to new programs with new offensive coordinators, new schemes that fit for them, or solidified schemes with foundation in them, right? The only one that kind of threw me off, it's going to be funny, I'm going to talk about it later, is this guy A.J. Henning right here, right on the screen. A.J. Henning here went from Michigan to Northwestern. And I laugh at it. It can't be money. It can't be money. He's from Illinois. He's going closer to home. He's returning closer to home. So that's one of the other metrics, right? So there's NIL, there's pro pedigree, there's coaching, there's location or geography, getting closer to home, that happens. Past relationships with coaches who recruited you out of high school, that makes a determination. And then lastly, there's this other one. Well, no, not lastly, but there's playing time involved. Playing time makes a difference. Facilities make a difference. Some people, the metric is there, but it's weighted all differently. Like, what do you do most? And then lastly, the education or the degree. Some universities offer better degrees than others. Some players are after that, especially if you don't have dreams and aspirations of being a professional. Like, why do you think Paul Tyson transferred? He was at Alabama. He was a state champ, 7A state champ. Goes to Alabama, can't play there. And then he transfers to Arizona State. Couldn't start there. Got beat out, right? Jones beats him out. And then he transfers again. And this time, he transfers to Clemson, a known backup role. You're not going to start over Cade Klubnik. He doesn't care. Clemson doesn't even take transfers. So what is this? This is a future graduate assistant. This is a guy who says, I want to go to Clemson so I can start my coaching career. Let me get under Dabo and start coaching. He's got no aspirations to be a professional football player. There's just no way. Not with that move. And there's players doing that. There's players conceding that, hey, I want to be a coach. Let me go find the right coaching staff. So there's a myriad of reasons to try to transfer. And for Alton McCaskill IV, now I've talked to the young man. We've talked several times on TikTok. And when we talk in our DMs, at no point has he ever tipped me to let me know what his priorities are or what he values. So I would be guessing, like anyone else, as to how much money it would take to keep him, if even money was the issue or the problem. You don't think Houston has money? Have you seen the moves they've made in the transfer portal? Houston's got NIL. Houston had a great backfield of 3 good running backs, a stable of running backs, and he was the best one out of them. But losing Tank Dell, losing Clayton Tune, 2 guys now in the NFL that kept the box light. Remember, you play against Houston, you can't put 8 guys in the box. You got to have help over the top. You got to have help underneath. You got to have linebackers taking away slants. You got to do whatever you can to help cover Tank Dell. This is a 1,300-yard rusher, the nation's leading receiver. The nation's leading receiver last year. Nathaniel Dell was a problem, and he was really helping that box stay light. This year, how light does it have to be? Not light at all. They were gonna stack it. So I think you just got to fight the right situation, the right offensive scheme. And yeah, Dana Holgerson's not he's not a great coach. He's a good recruiter. But have you ever seen somebody do less with more than Dana Holgerson? Think about it. You just had Tank Dell and Clayton Tune, and you were losing games. That's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen somebody do less with more as Dana. So I don't know where Olton goes. I don't know how much money it takes to get him there. It's the truth. But thank you for the questions. Great question. If anybody else has more questions like that, bring it. Hey, Ash. Hunter, Deeves, and Cindy saying hi to Ash. That's cool. You guys can say hi to Ash. Cubs for life, everybody. But when you say hi to Ash, please add an E to the end of her name. Her name is A-S-H-E. Ash is A-S-H-E. She has an E at the end because she's fancy. All right? Just so you know. Yeah, until she sees you in the backyard. Shout out to you, LG. Yeah, LGZ, no one can be in the backyard. She'll lose her mind. Chance Main, you called it. You know, Anthony Still, I don't want to say I called it. I made everybody aware what was going to happen, but I didn't necessarily try to predict him returning. I actually thought, man, he might think the defensive line room is too steep, too much competition, and might not want to come back. You know, I feel like Montana Lominus Craig is going to come back as well, or he's at least contemplating it, right? They tagged me in a clip on it on TikTok. Shout out to, I think it's the Prime Buffs channel. Who was it? Let me go pull it up here. I go to Google, TikTok, and if I go in here, I think it's CU Prime Buffs. Let me double check it. CU Prime.
How long do you
Buffs.
think you were on?
Let's turn that volume down. Oh, you guys, I don't know if I have the volume up. Let's see here. Somebody tagged me in a video recently. I got to find the right page though. It's a pretty popular Colorado Buffs page. I know they had more followers than me. They tagged me in a video, and it was Montana Lominus Craig coming back. Well, at least he was talking to Shador about it and saying it's possible. And they tagged me in the video, and I thought, okay, well, that's cool. How could I find them? I don't know how to find them. You know, I'm not logged into my account on my desktop, just so you guys are aware. I don't like doing that. I'm using my burner. No, I don't have burner accounts. I wish I could pull it up, but I don't know where it's at. So, oh well. Nonetheless, there's a conversation going down, and Montana Lominus Craig is contemplating returning back to Colorado. Just, he's like, word, I could do that. And he's like, it is what it is. He goes, well, let me keep looking. But he also said he wouldn't make a decision for a couple of weeks. Weeks, not days, weeks. So don't hold your breath. Just let it go. Campbell, you're obsessed with Alton. Zion let him know. He asks about it often. I'm sure Deion is going to try to get Florida State's mascot to transfer soon. Walker Colt, if the mascot can play football, why not? Find out who's underneath that suit. Or is he on a horse? Are they still doing the horse? The Seminole? Is he the guy on the horse with the spear at midfield? Why are we in here hating there, Walker Colt? It is what it is. I know it's off topic, but are you familiar with Sean Lewis' offense? Can Shador Sanders survive in that run options pass? I sure hope so. So I'm very familiar with Sean Lewis's offense, Tone White. But I believe that Sean Lewis is an offensive genius. I actually think that he will adjust his offense to his quarterback's traits. In the NFL, we talk about this all the time. NFL teams used to draft players to fit into their system. And then the NFL evolved. They stopped drafting players to fit into their system. They just started drafting players and then building around them. And this happened in the last 20 years. There used to be guys, I remember this vividly, saying, oh, that guy can't play here. He's not built for us. He doesn't know how to read. He doesn't know how to do this. No, now you just take an athletic person and you just build around him. So I think knowing that the focal point of your offense is a 3,000-yard passer with 40 touchdowns and 8 interceptions with pinpoint accuracy, I think you know how to adjust to that. You're not going to see run RPOs. You're not going to see, I guess, you may see it, but it's not going to be on there as much design quarterback draws and things of that nature. Down and distance is essential. Knowing where you're at, controlling, staying ahead of the chains, all that stuff is great. But when I study the Kent State offense, I see an offense that utilizes wide receivers, utilizes one marquee back, and obviously there's going to be a rotation at Colorado, but it's just Colin Schlee was a different type of quarterback. And that's why Colin Schlee transferred to UCLA. He's a Chip Kelly kind of guy. So you guys got to remember this. The player that Colin Schlee is at UCLA now, that Shedeur is nothing like that. And I think as a coach, you don't try to fit square pegs into circles. You change your offensive scheme based upon what you have. You really do, to some extent, right? You got to keep it true to what you were doing, but I think that that's very true. I would equate it to saying, hey, man, is the right side of your offensive line better than the left side? Well, then you might change the way you call plays just because you have better blocking on one side versus the other. I know I've seen tendencies like that. I can see it. I watch so much film. I'm like, oh, wait, it's 3rd and 3? They're going to run to the right. Oh, they always hit the short side of the field. Oh, they're always going to the wide hash. They're doing this. Oh, when that guy goes in motion, that means this guy's going to go here. Like, I can pick up tendencies, and I just watch film, and I'm not a coach. So it's highly prevalent. It's everywhere. And I think that Sean Lewis is probably really good at adjusting on the fly in that regard. And it's not the fly, it's for the whole season. Don't underestimate the coach. Don't underestimate winning. Don't underestimate Shedeur Sanders either. I think he's a great quarterback. So that's where I'm at on that. South Carolina is looking at that Sumo kid. Yeah, he's not bad. He's a good running back. South Carolina needs some running back depth. They have Mario Anderson Jr. just came over from Division II, and they obviously lost what's-his-face to retirement. I'm forgetting his name right now, the transfer from Georgia. He was a transfer. He was playing corner at Georgia, but he wanted to play running back, so he transfers to South Carolina, and then he retires due to injury, so it really hurt their running back room. They have another kid, though, from Lee County, and he's not bad. I like the South Carolina running back, or I like the whole South Carolina roster, but they've been missing in some recruiting lately. I'm going to talk about 2 of their transfers that they landed today. I'm going to talk about them later. But it's consolation prizes at this point. It really is. So it is what it is. Can you explain the new transfer portal rule for college athletes starting next year? Yes, Ampio. The new rule for starting next year for the transfer portal is pretty simple. There's only one thing they want to address. And what they want to address is graduate transfers can transfer whenever they want, however they want, as many times as they want. Graduate transfers are free agents. Graduate transfers have earned the right to leave school and go somewhere else. And transfers don't impact the APR or the academic progress rate. But undergraduates means you don't have your degree yet. That's your freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. Academically, remember this, academically, I hope I'm explaining this. When you show up to school and you get to the campus, you're a freshman. But if you redshirt in football, you're a freshman academically, and you're a redshirt freshman in football. The following year, you're a sophomore academically, but you're a redshirt freshman on the football field. Then you're a junior academically, and you're a sophomore on the football field again. Everybody on TV is calling you a sophomore, but academically you're a junior. Now you're a senior and you graduate, but you're a junior. You still have 1 year of eligibility left. That's why most graduate transfers have 1 year of eligibility left. Now the crazy thing is if you played in 2020 COVID. Because you played in 2020 COVID, here we go. You were a freshman in your classes. You played in 2020. You're a sophomore in your classes. You redshirt 2021. So now you're a junior in school, but you're a redshirt freshman on the football team after 3 years. Now you're a senior in school and you're graduating, and you're a sophomore on the football field. Now you're a graduate transfer with 2 years of eligibility. And don't even try to understand the redshirt waivers for medical redshirt. Now, if you get a medical redshirt, that means you were injured early in the year for a whole season. You apply for a waiver. NCAA will say, damn it, you lost the entire year due to injury. You get a medical redshirt. Those guys, that year doesn't count against them, and they get another redshirt. So you could redshirt, medical redshirt, and you could do a medical redshirt whenever. This is how guys are getting 6 and 7 years in college. This is how they're getting it. You can get multiple medical red shirts. You can get multiple, so those seasons don't count. You tore your ACL, then you tore your MCL and ACL another year. You can still play football. So, all of that to say this. If you don't graduate from school, they don't want to hear it. You belong to that school. So, everybody enrolling in college has one free transfer. One free undergraduate transfer. After that, you will not be awarded your immediate waiver to play. Now, here's what's happening. Right now, all these players are transferring from one school to the other. Undergraduates, transferring all over the place. If it's your first transfer, no big deal. You transfer and you get to play. But if it's your second and third transfer, and this is a lot of guys. A lot of guys have done a second and third transfer. If I was to go down this list, I'm sure I would find somebody. Let me just look off the top of my head. Well, there's Casey Thompson. Well, he's a graduate transfer. But let's say he wasn't. Let me see. Dominic Blaylock's graduate. Malone's graduate. Jordan Tyson. Let's say Jordan Tyson wanted to transfer next year. He was already at Colorado, went to Arizona State for a year, then transfers again. You will not. So what happens is when you transfer a second time, your gaining school will apply to the NCAA for a waiver to get immediate playing time. They will put in a waiver to get you immediate playing time. And the waiver will be granted and approved because the NCAA is not very stringent on the waiver process right now. They just, okay, yeah, you're good. You're at a new school. You need to play. And you could be like, yeah, I moved to be closer to home. Like, the waiver can have any justification. And I've put out an entire video on how they do this waiver process and when you get approved, what you're waiting for, what the committee decides. Like, there's a whole image template you can find online. Let me see if I can find it again, just so you guys can get a visual of what's happening. NCAA waiver process. Let me see if it's here. Undergraduate 4-year waiver transfer process. This is the frequently asked questions. It's essential. It's important. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for waiver and appeals. Here it is. This might be it. It is waivers and appeals, though, that I'm talking about. But everybody's going to be covered by this new rule. So they all put it out here. But if you go to the college websites, there's a really good graphic. And I have done tons of research on this. But the point is, they've always approved these hardship waivers. They approve them in an instant because they want you to play. They want you to play. They don't want to hinder you from playing. But they see now that people are abusing it. People are abusing. This is JT Daniels going from USC, using his first transfer to Georgia, doesn't like what he sees, and transfers to West Virginia. That's a guy who just used the transfer, and he got approved again. And then they just saw him transfer to Rice. And they're like, holy shit. And this guy's using medical red shirts. He's using all kinds of other waivers. We got to put a stop to this. So they put in the rule, says, hey, you get that one waiver. You get that one transfer. And then after that, we're going to be very stringent on approving immediate playing time for the next. You can still transfer. Don't get them wrong. You can still transfer. You would just not get immediate approval. And that's why there's that column on 24/7 Sports. It's obsolete right now. It'll be relevant moving forward. 24/7 Sports. It used to be important back in the day. It's not relevant right now, but right here it says eligible. And you click, it'll say pending appeal, sitting one, midterm, immediate. Everybody, eligibility is immediate right now. See this right here? Immediate. Everybody's immediate. Because of the way the rules are right now. But it's going to change. It's going to change. You're going to try to appeal. You're going to try to do things. It's going to change. But just like Chance Main just got his medical red shirt approval after 3 months, they're really trying to help everybody out. They will not be doing that moving forward next year. Now, there's still another stipulation. You can still transfer if your coach gets fired or hired elsewhere. Now, that rule is staying in effect. If you're at a school and your coach gets fired, head coach gets fired or hired and leaves, there's a 30-day window. Whenever that transaction takes place, there's a 30-day window you can enter the transfer portal. No matter what grade you're in, no matter what year of school you're in, you can enter the transfer portal because your coach left. They've enabled every single team to do that, every single player. So all these players at Colorado, as soon as Coach Prime got hired, they could have all jumped in the portal for free. And that goes for every school. So that's something people need to think about. That's always going to be there. They're doing that just to get kids. Because, kids end up at you got recruited to this school. Dude sold you snake oil, and now he's gone. You're like, what the hell? Where'd he go? I'm out. It's nuts. So you just got to be careful with that. So that's going to still be approved. So there you go. Graduate transfers can always transfer. Oh, and another thing. If you're in the national championship or the playoffs and the portal opens, I think the portal was open in December through January 15th, and all the teams were still playing for the national title. Was it January 5th when the portal closed? I don't remember. In the winter. You were allowed to still enter the portal if you were an underclassman. Anybody could still enter. They had a gentleman's agreement that it's called a reasonable time standard was what it was. They all had a reasonable time to jump into the portal in the winter. So any Georgia kids or TCU kids that wanted to join after the portal closed, they could have. The NCAA is just being reasonable with it. Yeah, you can join when you want. It's cool. Yep, there's still those things out there. So, yeah, the new rule next year will be undergraduate transfers will not be awarded that second transfer immediate playing time. You can still transfer. You're just going to have to sit the year. You're just going to have to wait. And that's the new rule. So there you go. Big Rico, what up to you, Clutch Vibes? Thank you for being here. Hey, you guys, keep throwing your questions in the chat because then once we're done here, I'm going back to the board. Going to talk to you about the transfer portal, and then we'll do questions one last time and the show's over. So thanks for being here, guys. I know who Quick and Second to None is. He ain't destroying MGK. And he's talking about Russ. Russ is a much better rapper than MGK. And I like MGK. He's fine. He's a much better rapper than DJ Quick. And that's not how we spell Quick. Quick was spelled Q-U-I-K. But shout out to you. And Second to None was a great song. Let the Rhythm Take You. Great song. Number 5 song on the disc. If you guys don't know, this is West Coast Rap 1992 time frame. Shout out to you guys. Rico, Russ kind of goated. Yes, Russ is goated. He's on the Forbes list. He's one of the highest paid people in the world as far as, we go. First Rico Tube stream for me. Let's go. No knockouts for her. Oh, shout out to Pray For Me. Pray for me. Hey, listen, if I'm in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear, okay? Get him some help. Rico hates the obvious statements people make respect. Thank you very much. Shout out to you. Chris E., welcome back. Chris E. is Mr. Contradiction. Chris E. doesn't like anything I say. He wants to debate all night long. It's what he wants to do. It is what it is. Stephen A. is correct on this. 80 falls on any tap and acts like he got hit by a truck. Well, he did get hit by 6-something. Man, you ever been hit by somebody 6-something? Well, how big is Looney? How big is Looney, bro? Is Looney 7 feet? Golden State Warriors roster. Where's Looney? Kevin Looney. 6'9", 222. You ever been hit by a man 6'9"? I fought a lot of years of my adult life. I didn't fight anybody 6'9". You could be real problems. You catch an elbow from somebody 6'9". I'm just saying. Stop underestimating how big these people are. Stop underestimating. That elbow could have been real. You know what I'm saying? I was there and we still made the game. LGZ7. What are you talking about? I was there and we still made the game. Oh, you're talking about the car accident. This is a true statement, guys. When I got hit in my car, I got T-boned coming out of the car wash. Had a concussion. My car was totaled. And we somehow went to a game up in Serrano 2 hours away. Yeah, I remember this. It was a game of undefeated teams. I was coaching at the time, and we won. It was a blowout. Adam Starling was the star player on the opposing team. Dude, boom, 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 boom. Shout out to you, LGZ7, for remembering that. Hey, you know what, man? I think I went to a homecoming dance after that. My girlfriend was still in high school. I think I went to a school dance. Dancing with a concussion that ain't the recipe for success. I think I did. I killed it on the dance floor though. Usher 8701. We killed it on the dance floor. I'm telling you, people were just watching like, what? Who is this guy? I'm genuine. I mean genuine. I'm here. What did I miss? I'm sorry, y'all. Willie Bobo. Willie Bobo's in the house. Shout out to you, Willie Bobo. Everyone saw the play. 80 was definitely flopping. 80 is soft. Pause. Stephen A. doesn't need to apologize on OTV. We saw what we saw. Shout out to you, Chris E. You sound upset. You sound like a Stephen A. supporter or a Anthony Davis hater. You sound like an Anthony Davis hater, if I can say it. What up, Kim? I'll take Rico word that you're beautiful. Shout out to Willie Bobo. He'll take my word for it. Yes, please do. Will Georgia go on a three-peat GOAT 42? Well, GOAT 42, if they do a three-peat, it'll be the first I've ever seen where you're doing it with some of the most suspect skill position players I've ever seen. I don't think a single wide receiver or running back on the Georgia team is professional caliber. I don't think they're NFL caliber guys. The quarterbacks leave a lot to be desired. Carson Beck I don't think he's ready to lead the SEC in any type of statistical categories. You have Brock Bowers. You have all new defenders starting, right? I mean, not all, but you have a really huge overturn of talent and young talent in positions of need. I actually just don't see it. And I know a lot of people tell me, well, look, Georgia's got a cupcake schedule. And I'm like, how? You told me the SEC is the best conference in all of football. They play in the SEC. How do they have a cupcake schedule? What's their schedule look like? What's Georgia's schedule look like? Look, it's not in purple. That means I've never looked it up. It's not in purple. That means I've never looked it up, guys. Ain't that crazy? Because I don't care. All right, let's pull it up, though, as it loads. We got UT Martin. All right. Well, that's a win. That's a win. South Carolina's a problem, but that's cool. You guys think it's a win? Another win. Auburn. Man, this is cake until these last couple weeks here. Ole Miss and Tennessee. I don't know. It looks pretty good for them. I think Georgia's going to run into a problem at Auburn. I think Auburn has really good skill players. I like Auburn a lot. But give me Auburn in that game. I'm telling you, I see Georgia losing 3 games. I just do. Am I wrong? I don't know. I got a playlist on TikTok called I Am Wrong. Shit's empty, bro. I am wrong. The videos where I was wrong, they're empty. They're not there. There's nothing there. There's one video on that playlist. It was me trying to predict March Madness upsets. I didn't predict a lot of March Madness upsets. I missed on all of them. But I got the national champion correct. I got my bracket right. I had UConn, and I was in the 99th percentile in this country on my bracket. So it looks like Rico really does know. I also predicted FAU going on a run, and they did. Shout out to me. But nonetheless, yeah, Georgia three-peating, not realistic for me. I look for teams with senior Latin quarterbacks. I look for teams with seniority at certain positions. So when you look at Georgia last year, having Stetson Bennett, very good decision maker, doing the best that he can, getting the ball to his unicorn and Brock Bowers, having a ton of defenders that can change the game and make a difference. And they still squeak by an Ohio State team. You got to remember that. Ohio State had skill players at every position, professional at quarterback. That's what you're looking for. So when I look at the SEC, I see a team like Arkansas, loaded. Arkansas impresses me. Tennessee impresses me. And I know it sounds crazy not to mention Bama and Georgia. But I'm really impressed with Arkansas and Tennessee next year. And I really like Kentucky. So We'll see what happens. It is what it is. But there we go. Willie Bobo with the hand clap. Oh, she's telling you hand clap. There you go. I don't know if you talked about this before, but I saw Temple got Davian Hood. Any opinions on who he is? So Davian Hood coming up from, I believe he's coming up from the FCS level, correct? Let me go back. Did we see Temple? Where did we see it? It was a while back, though. Where did we see it? I'm looking at this list here. I apologize. I could have sworn I touched on this. Did it happen today? It didn't happen today. Let me do this. And I didn't mean, I'll just hit refresh. I don't want to go all the way back. Let me go to 24/7 and go to Temple. And latest, bro. Calm down. School. Can you stop playing with me? All right, my computer's not responding. It's like lagging on me. Are they in the Sun Belt? What conference is Temple in? USA? These things are not, they have not adjusted for Rico. So there we go. So you talked about Hood here coming from FCS level. Now, I talked about this, I think, yesterday. And I said, I don't follow FCS football like you guys would imagine. I follow 133 teams at the FBS level. So when I'm doing that, I have to, when I identify a player from the FCS who transfers up, I have to go watch film on them. Today, I did not get to Davion Hood. I will. Probably, it might take me a couple days, only because I have to track down tape. And the last time I looked at East Tennessee State was Elijah Huzzy transferring to North Carolina. So the last time I looked at their tape. So I got to go back and find all the tape. And I'll see what I can find on him. Not saying he's bad. I think it's exciting that a player moves up from the FCS to the FBS. But I will not tell you that I've seen any tape on him as of yet. I saw the film on Elijah Huzzy, but he was playing corner, and I was locked in on the corners, and I didn't pay attention to the defensive line. So I have to go back and look for any Hood tape. Go back to his high school tape. I just put in some research. So I owe you an answer. Come back. I won't be live again this weekend. I'm gonna try to go see my daughter play her basketball tournaments in AAU. So I think I'll be back on Monday, and I'll give you an answer then, Zach. I'll let you know how he does, all right? I apologize. I'd like to have an answer, but I don't right now. TCU is a 21.5-point favorite over Colorado. How are they winning this game? Who is they? How are they winning this game? If TCU is a 21.5-point favorite over Colorado right now, go put $1,000 on the game. I don't know what your money situation is like, but go put $1,000 on the game. I'm doing it. I'm not trying to give you financial advice. I'm just letting you know what I'm gonna do. If that's the case, I got to find a sports book somewhere and put $1,000 on the game. Last year, TCU's all-time great team was up 7-6 at the half. They only won the game 25 points against a terrible Colorado team. And they had 8 guys go to the NFL draft. They just lost 8 of their best players. Nah, bruh. No. It's going to be a dogfight at best. I might take Colorado straight up. You guys are crazy. TCU was a 4-win team. What was TCU's record? What was TCU's record in 2021? 2021, they were 5-7 overall. 5-7 overall, 3-6. Last year was a fluke for them. It was no indication of how great they are. It was a fluke. They're going to go back to this year. They lost 8 professionals. They lost all the seniority on that roster. All the seasoned players on that roster. I promise. No team out there is losing 8 professionals and bouncing back from a 5-win season. Listen to what I'm saying. We're not talking about Georgia. We're not talking about Bama, Clemson. We're talking about a 5-7 team who had a freak year because their starting quarterback got injured and Max Duggan came off the bench, and they had Kendre Miller and Darius Davis and Quentin Johnston, everybody else on defense. Like this is crazy. Avila on offense. They don't have it. And I saw their transfer portal class. I've studied their transfer portal class at length. I hate to sit here in silence while I do this research for you guys, but it's the reality of the situation. We sit here, and the problem is like people go, oh, well, I saw who they got. They got a guy from Bama. They got this. Yeah, dude. Just because of the helmet, you guys are tripping. JoJo Earl's going to save your season? Transfers coming in. Colton Deary, offensive lineman. This guy had played 2022. He just redshirted. He's never played a down of football in his life. He's going to be there for 4 years. This is depth. This is not a player. Depth. Chance Nolan. Why do you bring in Chance Nolan at quarterback? Former starting quarterback at Oregon State. Why do you bring him in if you got a good starting quarterback? I'm curious. Why do you bring him in if your quarterback's good? Because your quarterback's fragile. It's one of the most recent signings. Because you need there's no such thing. This is a graduate transfer, 1 year of eligibility. You don't bring him in unless he's going to start. He was going to go to Indiana to be the starter. This is crazy. Dylan Wright, now him coming home, decent. He was at Minnesota, the second leading receiver, deep threat. Now he's coming home. He's 6'4", 215, trying to take Quentin Johnson's spot. I like the kid. That's cool. Jalen Robinson, graduate transfer. Got 1 year of eligibility left. Rick DeBrayu, Eastern Carolina. He's got 2 years left, but he wasn't great at East Carolina. He wasn't like I'm turning heads. John Paul Richardson, I actually like. I'm really intrigued. Young receiver, 2 years of eligibility left. Played at Oklahoma State, was in the rotation. This kid coming home to Texas. But he looks like he sells insurance, bro. Trey Sanders, look. Everybody, oh, well, we got a 5-star, Trey Sanders. Trey Sanders, he's tweeted out, hey, Unc, I want to come play for you at Colorado. Give me that scholarship. Give me that invite. And Coach Prime called Nick Saban and said, hey, is this the type of running back I should have on my team? Is this the guy I should have on my roster when I start at a new school? And there was no stamp of approval there. Come on now. Trey Sanders did not get the stamp of approval. He didn't show up. They got Cavassier Smoke. Trey Sanders was dying to go to Colorado. And he got cold shoulder. That's all I need to know. Tommy Brockermeyer, former 5-star, his twin brother is still at Bama. He couldn't play at Bama. His dad went to Texas. I think his dad played at Texas. But this is a former 5-star guy. Jack Beck used to play at LSU. Decent kid. I think he's more of a tight end if you ask me. You want me to get excited about JoJo Earl? I mean, what are we doing? That's your guy coming home? 2 years of eligibility left? 3 years? I don't know. Trayshawn Holden's more surprising, more exciting. Christian Leary, more exciting. And Leary went to Georgia Tech. Trayshawn Holden went to Oregon. And then Anderson went to LSU. This is the 4th or 5th best wide receiver out of the transfer portal from Alabama. This is not their best player. This is not the marquee guy you're thinking. Avery Helm, leaving Florida. Couldn't even play at Florida. Coming back home because he's from Texas. This is the transfer portal class you guys are so excited about. It's some receivers. Some lineman depth. And a running back nobody wanted. That's not it, bro. That's how you replace. You put up the guys who went to the NFL draft, and then you put up these guys. It's going to be a huge drop-off. I think TCU wins 6 games. Let me go look at their schedule. Don't misquote me, because all this gets recorded, right? This will be here forever. I'm going to have to go make a video and say I am right. Trust me. I do that all the time. What's it, 2023? Football schedule? Never looked it up. It's not in purple. Never looked it up. Let's go. I got them losing to Colorado. They're going to beat Nichols. Okay, that's a win. They're going to be at Houston. I got them losing that game. I got them losing to SMU. They'll beat West Virginia. I got them losing to Iowa State. I know it sounds crazy. But Iowa State is the most competitive team with only 4 wins. I promise you. They're beating BYU. Losing to K-State. Losing to Texas Tech. Look at this murder's row, bro. Look at this schedule. K-State, Texas Tech, Texas, and Oklahoma all in the final month. On the road for 3 of those? No. TCU is not it. All their wins last season were come from behind victories. They were losing at halftime. They kept coming from behind. Pause. But I'm just letting you know. TCU is in for a rude awakening. Even if they beat Colorado, even if they beat Houston and SMU, they're gonna lose 1, 2, 3, 4 games at the end of the season. They're gonna lose 4 out of the last 5. They're losing 4 out of the last 5. I'm telling you right now. They're losing 4 out of the last 5. TCU's not it. Not a good team. 4 out of the last 5 for sure. Book it. Put it down somewhere. I'm telling you right now. I appreciate the feedback, Rico. Thank you, Tone White. Shout out to you. What are the chances of CU starting 3-0? Bentley, the chances are not good. The chances are not good, them starting 3-0. But they're not terrible. They're just not good. If you want, I don't know what the odds are or whatever, but chances are we're tripping here. I'm just letting you know right now. That's not a good one. It's going to be a dogfight. There's some coin flips in there. There's some coin flips at the beginning. Nebraska, that's a coin flip. TCU, it's a coin flip. So what are the chances there? Once you go to 50 and then, it gets exponentially worse? I don't know. I took statistics a long time ago. Shout out to my college professor who hated me because I was a monster at statistics. I know. What? What is this? You talking about these deviations from what? I'm a monster, bro. He hated me. Anyways, good evening, y'all. 29-year-old sophomore. Daddy Bryant, especially if they go play baseball, right? Austin Ani. We talk about it almost every night. Austin Ani, North Texas, went and played baseball first. 29 years old in college. Get away from my daughter, bro. My daughter graduates high school at the end of this month. Matter of fact, she graduates high school on the 25th. I'll be down in Florida at her graduation. I wanted to get her a gift for her graduation. Everybody's like, yo, get your daughter a gift. I'm like, yeah, I got it. What am I supposed to get my daughter a gift? They're like, oh, money. You just get her money. She don't want nothing else. Just get her money. Well, my daughter's never come at me like that before. Like last time, this is a 17-year-old girl. She asked me for the Taj Mahal. A Lego set. The Taj Mahal. 2,000 pieces. It was like $200. She wanted to build the Taj Mahal in her room. Dude, your 16, 17-year-old daughter asking for the Taj Mahal and not a car? Immediately. Let's go get that. I jumped on Amazon real quick, bought her that Taj Mahal and sent it. So, yeah, I'm not going to get away that easy. This time it's going to be a little more expensive. I'm with you. That COVID year is going to have players graduating at 30. Yeah, Zion, they should all have doctorates. If they're taking a full slate of classes, you got to at least take 12 credits. So, even after you're graduated, you got to be taking something. Take 3 classes. I don't care what it is. Take 3 classes. Keep working. Just you become a lifelong learner. Get your PhD or whatever it is. That's all I'm saying. What up, Rico? Blessings, brother. Shout out to you, Digital Jarrett's. Digital Assets, Jarrett. When he comes in here, when Jarrett shows up, I know he's here. Always gives me a shout out. And more importantly, that man tips this page. That man tips me in the super chat. So I appreciate him for that. Hey, shout out to Steve. I just saw Steve up in here. Steve joins me every day on my runs. I do a 5-mile run every day. And Steve's a dedicated subscriber and follower on TikTok. So I appreciate him for being a double dipper and following me 2 different ways. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. We're at 28 likes right now. We got over 120 people up in here. Do your thing. Hit the like and keep it moving. All right. What's up, Rico? Blessings, brother. Yep. Thank you very much. Does this apply to incoming junior college prospects? Daddy Bryant, incoming junior college prospects, when you're referring to transferring, that counts as their first transfer? No. Incoming junior college transfers do not enter the transfer portal. They're considered initial entry scholarships. So next year, there will be a limit on the initial entry scholarships again. They'll go back to the 25 limit. So your recruiting class will be 25 from high school, and JUCO's included in that. Transfer portal is a totally different group of people. So just be careful with that. No, they're not a part of the transfer portal punishment. Now, if you're a 4.24, you definitely. And what I'm talking about a 4.24 is you were at a 4-year university, you transferred to a JUCO, that means you hit the transfer portal. And then you transferred again to a 4. So 4.24. You're going to probably have to redshirt. And you probably just put in a red shirt at your JUCO for 2 years. So that happens sometimes too. A guy will play 1 year at the JUCO. 1 year. But be there for 2 to get his academics right. There's reasons to go to JC. But 4.24 is more valued than 2.4 straight out of high school. Straight out of high school, JUCO, you're not a known commodity. We don't know who you are. We don't know your name. 4.24s get recruited like crazy to some of the top JUCOs. Because you want a guy that's coming from a big school. You want a guy who qualified in the clearinghouse. You want somebody who was good to register at your school and get through admissions. So 4.24s are valued. They're respected. Now, a lot of those guys are entitled and think that they're going to go back to the program they're at. Remember Last Chance U? And every single star player who was like, yeah, I was at Florida State. Yeah, I was in the SEC. Yeah, I'm trying to get back there. Relax, buddy. You were there. You're not there anymore. Enjoy Nicholls State. Enjoy Incarnate Word. Like, stop it. You get what I'm saying? What tight end can Colorado land this late? So, Francisco, obviously, everybody's talking about Garrett Breath, the JUCO tight end. But if I go to the transfer portal, and how do I want to see who's in the transfer portal? Let me think about that for a second. Available in the transfer portal by position. I can go to 24/7. So let me do that. Let me go back up here. And we can go all schools. And we can go position. And then you're going to scroll down. And they mix up wide receivers and tight ends together. We're just going to keep hitting load more. And you see Trey Knox is going, oh, wait, we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that they are uncommitted, meaning they're available. Theoretically. Now, the website's not always right. They don't know what they're doing. So then you go back in here, you go to wide receivers again, and you start looking for tight ends. So there's Zeke, Seydou Traore. Obviously, we don't want him. Casey Kelly, I thought he already committed somewhere. Let me double check that. I'm going to pull it up over here on this other screen for you guys. I'm pretty sure Casey Kelly already went. Picked his school. Was it Oregon? Yeah, he's at Oregon, so he's off the table. Another tight end. Let's go load more players. Elijah Brown is still out there and available. Leaving Alabama. He's not a blocking tight end. He's a receiving tight end. And this is why they're going after a JUCO tight end, because when you go to the transfer portal and you start looking at the players in there, you got to start digging pretty deep in the crates, right? You got one from West Virginia, one from Purdue, Corbin Page and Kyle Blood. No, and when I looked them up, these guys have never played. James Carney leaving Nebraska. Sean Shaw Jr., I think, well, he's 6'6". I'm looking at the wrong guy. I was like, I think he just committed to Texas State. 6'6". He's a really good receiver. I like him. Elijah Yelverton from Iowa. You think a tight end from Iowa would be good, right? Matt Almo. But you have to actually sit down, check the grades, check the story, get behind them, watch the film, call coaches. You got to work through all these tight ends. And when they did, and when they are, I know that the tight ends they're offering at Colorado are not pass-catching tight ends. They're looking for – Dak's already committed somewhere. I forget where. Dax Courtney. I forget where. But, yeah, so there's slim pickings. But the kid that you just saw is, the kid that everybody's talking about is the JUCO, former offensive tackle at Butte. I went and looked up what I could. Is Butte or Butler? Butte Community College. So it is what it is. What about Seydou Traore transfer situation? Would he have to sit out a year if he transfers? Also heard he is a wide receiver now. Can he come back to CU to play this year? So he's a receiver. He's a receiving tight end. He can transfer again. He will not have to sit out a year. As long as he's enrolled, he won't have to sit out a year. You can transfer. So there's nothing there, Frank White. He can transfer if he wants. He can come back if he wants, but it is what it is, right? You burn some bridges when you enter the transfer portal, and that's what these young men need to understand. And when you enter the transfer portal, let me make this clear. They always say, so-and-so withdraws from the portal. So-and-so withdraws from the portal. The way you do that is your team doesn't lose your scholarship. So you're in the portal. You are still finishing out your academic year. You're in school. You have a scholarship. You declare, I'm entering the transfer portal. You're still finishing out your academic year. But you immediately lose your athletic aid. You lose your commitment from the school. They are taking that scholarship from you, get to finish out the year, but they can allocate that to somebody else. They can give it to someone else. And this is what happened in the winter. These kids jumped in the portal, and then they went and signed a 25-man recruiting class or more. And now they don't have your scholarship anymore. So you can't just withdraw your name. That's what it looks like. In the portal on these websites, it goes so-and-so withdrew and going back to school. But no, when you withdraw from the portal to go back to school, you have to ask your coaching staff, hey, I want to come back. But it's just like you're a recruit like anybody else. You're asking for a scholarship for the following semester. You're asking to come back to not your old scholarship. That old chair is gone. That old chair went to some high school kid. You're asking for a chair, period. So if you burn bridges and you're not in contact with the coaching staff, it's problematic. Most guys who enter the transfer portal are not in contact with the coaching staff at that point. Shout out to, Keon Coleman? He's still in contact with the coaching staff at Michigan State. That's why everybody's super excited. He's still talking to Coach Mel Tucker. He's still having meetings, still talking to him. If we're still in constant contact, we're not going to backfill your scholarship. We're going to give you a shot, and hopefully we can get you back. But I've seen plenty of guys enter the portal, and then that scholarship go to somebody else. And now you can't come back. Your scholarship's gone. So if you want to withdraw from the portal, you still got to negotiate with your coach, with your coaching staff, and say, hey, I'd like to come back to school to play for you guys. Oh, okay. Well, now we need to evaluate whether or not you're good enough to be one of our scholarship players. Happens. Happens a lot. I'd say it's happened at least 20 times this offseason from what I've seen. So it is what it is in that regard. All right. I'm getting down here. I'm out, Rico. I'm taking the kids to jiu-jitsu. Shout out to LGZ7. Hey, keep your kids in jiu-jitsu, man. Make them tap out. No tight end going to a team that ain't going to throw them the ball. This ain't the 90s where tight ends mostly block. Tight ends are more like wide receivers now. So Dupree Hundo, this isn't necessarily true. There are a ton of tight ends that are primarily blockers, and they're at different schools and different schemes. There are a ton of tight ends. There are a ton of wide receivers at Navy. There are people on Air Force. There are people in schemes where they're not being thrown the ball. There are wide receivers going to Georgia, and there are no Georgia wide receivers getting passes thrown to them. The second leading receiver in Georgia, you got Ladd McConkey getting passes. You got Brock Bowers getting passes. You got running backs getting passes. No other receivers have more than 2 receptions a game. None. Doesn't stop them from going to that school. They still want to go to the school. They still want an education. They still want to be a part of that program. But there are no receivers getting more than 2 catches at Georgia. And they've historically never thrown to wide receivers. Historically. We can pull it up. I don't need to pull up the record books. I haven't looked at them recently. Because I think they're going to get broken by Brock Bowers. But yeah, tight ends, there are pass-catching tight ends. There are blocking tight ends. There are roles to this. There are schemes where there are teams not. You know, Jaheim Bell comes to mind. Jaheim Bell was a tight end at South Carolina last year, but he was second on the team in rushing. He was the second leading rusher at South Carolina. People use tight ends different ways, H-backs, whatever you want to call it. There are pass-catching tight ends. Yep, there are user-friendly offenses that throw the ball to tight ends, definitely. But there's definitely the inverse. Blocking tight ends are out there. What do you think, what's his name was from Georgia last year? What's his name? The big guy. I'm drawing a blank right now. Somebody help me. Throw it in the chat. You guys know who I'm talking about. He'll come to me. Washington. What do you think he was? He's the meanest blocking tight end you ever saw. He's another offensive tackle. Come on now. Connor Gilbreth will go to Colorado. You know, he's got other offers. I don't talk about players. I don't like rumors. I like facts. I like to talk about things after they happen. That's why I put it down here. Hey, Chance Main coming to Colorado. I don't like to talk rumors. I hate rumors. Rumors are wasted energy. If you stop talking about rumors, all you have time for is facts. You have so much more time. I want to explain this. I study the transfer portal. I do not study the rumors of where players are going. Could care less. Could not care less. Impossible for me to care less about where somebody's going. The rumors behind it. The Alton McCaskill guessing. Where is Franklin going? Where is so-and-so? Where's Coleman going? I spend zero energy worrying about rumors. I just go look who committed today. And I talk about commitments. Recruiting. I don't give a flying flip about recruiting. I don't go to Rivals 24/7 or On3 to look at recruiting ever. I don't care what a kid's final top 6 is, top 4, top 3, when he's announcing. I don't care about any of that shit. Let me know when he enrolls and goes to practice. Shout out to Michael Daugherty for committing to LSU, enrolling in school, and 8 days later leaving LSU. That happened just this year right now. 4-star Michael Daugherty out of Grayson, Georgia, goes to LSU, leaves school within 2 weeks. I do not waste time talking about rumors. That is crazy. That is such a waste of energy. And when you don't do that, all you have time for is facts and learning and obtaining more information. And somebody comes here and goes, hey, man, did you hear that rumor about, did you hear the latest? And it's like, nah, none of it's real, bro. None of it. Don't waste your time on it. So, for me, Connor Gilbreth, let me know when he commits. I don't care about offers. I don't care about what they're doing. They gave Landon King an offer. Landon King offered by Colorado. Oh, my God, he's going to come. No, he's not. You get offered. I mean, you're showing up. Don't waste any energy on it. New sub here. Not sure if I missed an earlier discussion, but what's your take on Buff's new defensive coordinator, Charles Kelly? Talked to a few Bama fans, and they were so happy to see him go, part of the good old boys. Yeah, John Chen. So my take, and I've said this before, I don't mind rehashing it, okay, because I want to make sure it's clear. There's 125 people in this room, and they all need to know. And the thousands that watch this afterwards, everybody needs to know. Charles Kelly is definitely a product of the Good Old Boy Network. Definitely. This is Nick Saban handing off one of his guys and saying, here, man, go take him. Yeah, trust him. Because it's all word of mouth. Trust me, this guy. But that's how it is, man. That's networking. Half of you guys got jobs from somebody knowing somebody and getting a hookup. All right? I can't relate. But Charles Kelly is a very substandard defensive coordinator. All I can hope for is he learned a lot from Nick Saban over these last couple years. That's all I can hope for. Because when he was the defensive coordinator at Florida State, he was atrocious. Atrocious. Okay? Gabe Pruitt was the defensive coordinator before him, and Gabe Pruitt had a top 10 defense in Florida, at Florida State. They're winning the national title. Then they get Derwin James and a couple other boys. They get some blue chippers. Gabe Pruitt leaves, goes to Tennessee. New defensive coordinator, Charles Kelly. Defense is now ranked in the 40s and 50s within the next 2 years. Absolute trash. Horse doo-doo. Trash. Never seen somebody do less with more. He can recruit his ass off. He can get good players in the door. He knows what to say, how to say it, and it's evident. He's getting all these recruits from the transfer portal because he can win in the living room. He can win over the phone. He can win in person. Charles Kelly knows how to recruit, and he better know how to recruit, and he gives you an advantage talent-wise over everybody else. He gets you better players in your room. Gets you better players on your team. He was doing it at Bama. Hell, he got Caleb Downs to stay with Bama. And he left. And he still stayed and helped them finish out the recruiting class. When Charles Kelly got hired, he did not come over to Colorado. He got hired in early December? He stayed to finish the recruiting class with Nick Saban because he knows how to recruit. And that was his loyalty. Hey, I'm going to take that job, but I'm going to stay here and help you get all your recruits in the door. Charles Kelly can recruit his ass off. Coaching? I really hope he's improved. And my fingers are crossed. I am optimistic. Remember, I'm a very positive person. I'm a supporter of Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm a supporter of the transfer portal. So whatever team is utilizing the transfer portal more than others, I'm with it. I watch those teams. Texas State, UMass, right? Colorado, Charlotte. These are all the teams I'm excited about this upcoming year because I am a transfer portal guru. I'm the guy. So when I watch a team utilizing the transfer portal to its maximum potential, I love it. But I got to call a spade a spade. I can't sit back, bro. I can't pretend. I can't fake the funk. I can't do none of that. My assessment of Charles Kelly as a defense coordinator is not good. Now, the inverse, right? The inverse. You got defensive backs coach, Kevin Mathis, great. Sal Sunseri at defensive line, great. And then you got an offense that I really believe in Sean Lewis. So there are pieces there. But if you ask me straight up, I'm going to be straight up with you. Now, I don't think he's a bad coach. I just hope he learned more. Because the last time he had it, it wasn't there. But how do you get these second chances? It's the Good Old Boy Network. It's the hookup. It's word of mouth. That's everybody goes there to rehabilitate themselves, right? And they're getting these jobs. You tell me how Steve Sarkisian gets that job at Texas when Tom Herman's doing a really good job. Tom Herman's doing all right. He won 4 bowl games in a row. Had them ranked in the top 10 one of his years. Tom Herman was doing great at Texas, and they still kicked him out and took a guy from the Good Old Boy Network. Took a guy that's had drinking problems, but he's got the in at SC, he's got the in at Washington, he's got the in at it's a hookup above hookups. Coaching, nepotism runs rampant in coaching. And if you guys don't know what nepotism is, I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, but nepotism is, hey, hire my son, hire my friend, hire my family, right? It's not even earned. It's just like Lane Kiffin got on the map as a coach, and he's a good coach. I like him. But how did he get on the map? He's Monty Kiffin's son, right? There's nepotism everywhere. Belichick's got a son in coaching. Kirk Ferentz got a son in coaching. People have their kids coaching all over the place, and who knows how good they are. Beats me. But they're everywhere. I think Pete Carroll's got a son. He's a defensive back coach. It happens. These guys it's nepotism. It's not really, and you can't have nepotism with players. Players, you either earned it or you don't. You either play or you can either play or you can't, right? It's not like that with coaching. Sometimes you can just hide on the staff and get the hookup. So it is what it is. At the same time, Coach Prime has a bunch of people on his staff that are probably derived from nepotism or relationships or networking. So it's everywhere. It's rampant. And what I would say is, I don't know if it's a negative. It's just a social norm. It's just the social norm. So you got to learn to deal with it. Yeah, Charles Kelly. Maybe a Good Old Boy Network. Alabama fans happy losing him? That's foolish. You're losing a guy who can recruit. You don't get happy about losing him. You think they're excited about getting Tommy Rees? Yeah, they're excited? Okay. Connor Gilbreth will go to Colorado. Hey, Mr. Maurice, don't repeat it twice. I got you, man. I see it once. We're good. Will Coach Prime have 2 extra scholarships since his sons can go to school for free, or can he afford their tuition? You know, I haven't discussed it. Typically, if you're a member of the faculty, your children can attend school for free. I haven't looked into it. I don't want to go there. They will not have 2 extra scholarships. They have 85 scholarships. Will they have 2 players serving as walk-ons? Who knows? I haven't asked. I haven't dug that deep. So do you know if Southern Miss quarterback Ty Keys transferred, or is he still there? I saw different things on different sites. So from my understanding, he's in the portal. Let me check my database, though. Ty Keys. First and foremost, does everybody know who Ty Keys is? Ty Keys, from what I understand, he's still in the portal. In high school, he threw for over 14,000 yards. Ty Keys was Mr. Football 3 years in a row in Mississippi. He was supposed to be everything. And you go to Southern Miss, and you have less passing yards or passing attempts than Frank Gore. I understand Lowe's the starter, and Ty Keys had less. They started letting Frank Gore throw the ball more. Frank Gore Jr. is throwing the ball more than Ty Keys. I don't know what's up. Ty Keys must have played at a smaller competition level. But 14,000 yards in high school, that's Baker Mayfield status. That's what Baker Mayfield threw in college. 155 touchdowns. So, I don't know, man. We'll see where he ends up. If he wants to play quarterback, he might have to go to the FCS, though. If he's still on the team, if he's still at Southern Miss, then these websites are just the worst. I'll dig around, and I'll get you a right answer. It is what it is. I haven't fought anyone 6'9", but I'm down. Shout out to Willie Bobo. He wants to fight 6'9". Looney. Yes, I hate softness of AD. He is always grabbing something when he gets tapped like he's made of glass. I think a lot of the players have a habit of doing this. It's muscle memory. I hate the NBA. I hate the NBA for a lot of reasons, but I definitely can understand where you're coming from when it comes to their softness. But I don't enjoy soccer for the same reason. The flops are outrageous. I really don't. Quarterbacks are guilty of it as well. So are punters and kickers. Anything to get an advantage. I don't like it. It's ridiculous. Georgia will dominate on defense. That offense is still up in the air outside of Brock Bowers. So, yeah, assuming they're going to dominate on defense, to me, is dangerous. I think it's dangerous. I've seen their defense. I know the players. I watch a lot of Georgia football. I'm in Georgia. I live in Georgia. I know the players. I've seen their defense. But when I go back and I look at their schedule that I just had up, I don't think they match up well with Kentucky's offense. I don't think they match up well with – now, they match up well with South Carolina, but Tennessee. I don't think they match up well with, Alabama. It's just problematic in those games, as far as I'm concerned. Now, they've recruited the hell out of their team. They got a lot of depth, not a lot of proven players. A lot of depth in stars and athletic names and, Smile Munden and all these guys, Molden, whoever. Cool. Not anybody solidified as a guy. I really like Malachi Starks in the backfield, starting as a freshman. I loved him. But I like him as a running back. I watched him play at Jefferson as a running back. So I know the players, and I know them well. But I'm not sold on anything. I don't base my assessments on stars, on recruiting profiles, and somebody said this guy was going to be great. I don't do that. If I did that, then A&M would be at the top of the damn conference and in the top 25. So I don't get down like that. They do have good coaching, but losing your offensive coordinator also impacts your offensive production. So you got to score points. Question: will you be streaming live when college football starts? I think when college football starts, I will be streaming live. I think while I watch the games, I will be streaming live. Yes, I think so. But I want to be hesitant. I think I'm going to be creating a ton of content during the games, to be real. Because I'm going to make my picks. I'm going to tell you what transfer portal players to watch. I got a whole lot of stuff I want to do during that time frame. So it is what it is. I am Rico, translate to I am right. Hey, pretty much. Yesterday, I think. Zach Barrero, what happened yesterday? Alden McCaskill tweeted out a picture of a clock 30 minutes ago. What's your opinion on that? I mean, I can ask him. I think he's on the clock. He's being patient. Give him some time. He'll write me. We talk on TikTok, so we can figure that out. Word, appreciate it. Okay. UPR, you as well. The obsession with Alton is getting out of hand. Yeah, he's the best running back in the portal. I get it. So if Georgia not going to three-peat, then who going to win it all? Arkansas, Tennessee, or Texas? I don't think either one of those three teams is going to win it all. I really like Texas, but I don't think any of those three are going to win it all. More power to them if they do. I can't make that assessment right now. I haven't seen the playoffs. I haven't seen the matchups, and I haven't seen the team play. I don't like to guess at stuff like that. I have to make sure I know what I'm saying. Rico, in December, you said TCU would win by 20. You sure? JT, in December, when I said TCU would win by 20, all these players hadn't joined Colorado yet. In December, when I said TCU would win by 20, Colorado's transfer portal class was anemic. Good thing we keep receipts. You want to hold me accountable? Let's go to school, Pac-12, Colorado, and they're in chronological order when they join the team. So if we hit latest, shout out to the programmers at 24/7 for not fixing their site. And here we go. Here's the latest. Let's go back to December. And let's go look. At worst, here we are, December. Now, maybe I said this on December 30th. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I know I didn't say it December 30th. I know I said it way over here. But you're looking at guys, when you hit the transfer portal, who have they gotten since then? Since December? Look at all the names. Derek McClendon, Kennedy, Jack Bailey. These are starters. Roderick Ward, Dawson, E.J. Horton, Vito Tisdale, Harris. They didn't have any of these guys. You can't hold me accountable when they added 20 more transfers after December. Oh, you guys can't even see the screen. Somebody tell me this. I apologize. But the point is they didn't add. The amount of players they've added this spring changes the trajectory of the program. If I set it back here, it's a huge difference when you start adding all these players after the new year. Jordan Dominic, That's when they got Breedlove. Now, Xavier Weaver, I'm pretty sure they got Xavier Weaver late and Leonard Payne late when I made this comment. But yeah, I don't have them winning. Things change. You can adjust. All right, 5-7. Hey, 5-7. Are you referring to Colorado? I have Colorado winning 4 to 6 games, trending towards 7. So if you're at 5, you're right in the middle of where I'm talking. So it is what it is. TCU will regress. Or are we talking about TCU's schedule? TCU's record? Okay. Did y'all not watch that Natty Championship game? Look, Zion, I agree completely. I saw the National Championship game with those NFL players, and I'm telling you, Kent State played better. Kent State played Georgia better. So did Missouri. That's a fact. They were closer in games against Georgia. I am a casual Florida Gators fan and a student at University of Florida. Before I buy these season tickets, I got to know what you think about the Gators this year. Are we going to do better? I don't know. I got them winning 6 games at best. I don't know if I'd buy season tickets. Now, maybe if you're a college student, go to the games. It's an atmosphere and a memory worth having. But I don't necessarily see them having a better season. They still need to turn over that roster. They need to find a quarterback of the future. They need to get a 5-star quarterback. And if they want to be relevant, you got to sign a 5-star quarterback. You have to. They got to get one. And they almost had one, but they couldn't afford him because he's insanely priced. But their team was terrible. Their team was terrible last year. I don't blame them. They had a terrible quarterback in Anthony Richardson. Just straight scrub. One of the worst starting quarterbacks, not named A.J. Swan, whatever his name is, the Vanderbilt kid. I mean, just the worst starting quarterback in the SEC. It's hard to win games when you have that guy. Hard to win games when your quarterback's going 9 for 27 or not throwing a touchdown for the first 3 weeks of the season. It's hard. Their projected starting quarterback threw 20 passes for 111 yards and 0 touchdowns versus Colorado last year. Yeah, so Chandler Morris was the starting quarterback for TCU last year. He's a starting quarterback again. He's a good player. The problem is they had a new offense and a new coach. So Chandler Morris is not a bad player. I understand what you're saying, gearhead, but Chandler Morris is not a bad player. He's not the problem. He's one of the better players on TCU. Let's just be careful with that, okay? He's one of the better players on TCU. It's also safe to think TCU will have mental hangover from the Natty. Steve, I don't think so. I think it's all new players. I think they got some skill players coming in from out of town, right, from the transfer portal. They don't have any mental hangover. All the guys who were in that Natty, 8 of them are in the NFL. So the backups don't have mental hangover. If anything, going to the national championship, it does a couple things for you. It gives you more practice. You get to practice for your bowl games. And since you have a late bowl game, you get to practice more than the other teams who got bowl games. But you still get more practices. At least 16 practices for bowl team guys, right? And there's a certain number of hours you're allowed to get when you make it to a bowl game. That's development for your players. So they got a ton of development for the backups. They got way more practice. So, there's this saying, your bowl game is either the last game of your previous season or your first game of the next season. And I'll give you an example. Oklahoma had a tough season, and then they get in their bowl game, and they're playing Florida State, top 10 team. They nearly beat them. And it's because Oklahoma said, this bowl game is going to be our first game of 2023. This is the first game of the 2023 season, and we're going to treat it like that. And they went out there and played their ass off. I think Oklahoma this season is going to be very good based upon what I saw in their bowl game. And they added more players. They're believing in their system and their coach. They're upgrading in positions. I like Oklahoma this upcoming season. I really do. After having a rough season. So there you go. TCU is definitely getting trounced by CU. Georgia embarrassed them in that championship game. Yeah. Also safe to think that TCU, there we go. Magna's up in here. TCU lost it. It's top quarterback, top 2 rushers, top 3 wide receivers, top 2 pass rushers. Nobody talks about them losing their offensive coordinator. It's a wrap. I can see them struggling with no quarterback, weapons, and a new offensive coordinator. So they do have a quarterback. Chandler Morris was better than Max Duggan. Let me get this straight. If you ever want to see how good Chandler Morris is, go watch his game against against Baylor. Go watch his game against Baylor. Now, if he can stay healthy, he's very good. If he can't stay healthy, then you can beat him. But watch out. Chandler Morris can play some football. What's your obsession with Colorado? Brian Smith is asking. Also, Saban really liked Sanders and was complimentary of his work ethic. Well, if you really like a player, you keep him on your roster. That's number one. You keep him at your school. So, no. You say positive things about players because you don't want to get negative recruited. Okay, so when you go and get players, you don't ever want to be negative recruiting. And what that is somebody can walk into the living room and say, don't go to Alabama. Look what Nick Saban says about the players when they leave. So you're always going to say something positive in public. But you got to read between the lines. Why aren't these players getting their offers where they're supposed to go? Why aren't these players going where they wanted to go? And Coach Prime is known to call Nick Saban, so there's that. Do I have an obsession with Colorado? I have no obsession with Colorado. I have an obsession with college football, Brian Smith, specifically the transfer portal. So I make content for the transfer portal. The number one team in the transfer portal, the most consistent, busiest, most transactions is Colorado. So that is the nature of my content. But if you go to my TikTok, I cover 133 teams. I know every single team. So what's my obsession with every single team? I can sit here and talk about every team intelligently about their roster. So it's not an obsession with Colorado. Check yourself at the door. If you don't appreciate the content, don't be here. That's real. LOL. Shout out to KU Softball putting on the number 8 pokes. There you go. Make sure you hit the like button. Can Presley make it to the league? So he's talking about Braylon Presley, just transferred to Tulsa, running back, left Oklahoma State. His older brother's still at Oklahoma State, but he's talking about Braylon Presley. And let me show you guys something. Unfortunately, I closed it, but on 3. Oh no, you know what? Let's do this. If we go to Google and we look up Braylon Presley. And we pull him up, and what you want to pull up, I'm going to try to pull up his huddle tape for you guys. Give me a second here. Sorry, I was in the whole screen. So it's this little guy right here. Braylon Presley, he's 5'7", 155 pounds. Braylon Presley is 5'7", 155 pounds. He played at Bixby High School. He won a state title every single year. 4 state titles in a row. This is little Barry Sanders without the thighs. This is Barry Sanders. They say his comparison is Isaiah McKenzie. This little guy runs a 10.640 or 10.6 100 meters. Okay. Didn't ever lose. Gatorade Player of the Year. Everything. His older brother plays at Oklahoma State still. The two brothers won a ton of titles. But if you guys ever want to see a guy and you want to see a fun tape, it's Braylon Presley, this running back here. Okay. This is his huddle film. Braylon Presley deserves all the shine. He can just make people miss and outrun everybody. Let me go ahead and shrink myself. Braylon Presley is one of the most exciting running backs in the country. I'm letting you know this now. And it's just remarkable that when he went to Oklahoma State, their running back room's loaded, by the way. They have some track athletes. He didn't get the opportunity to play. I apologize for the lag here. But his brother's a star wide receiver at Oklahoma State. He transfers, goes back home to Tulsa, where Bixby's, he's closer to home now. But this little guy, for years upon years, every single time Bixby was on ESPN, this little guy was crushing it. He's great. He's just a beast of a little dude. He can stop on a dime. Look at this. The agility's insane. And he can just be patient, wait for his blocks, and then he can hit the gas, make people look silly, and you're not going to catch him. It's great. It's phenomenal. His tape is fun to watch. Braylon Presley. So the question is, can he go to the... Oh, my goodness. The juke he put on that guy. Let me rewind that. Holy smokes. Look at this juke on this safety. Whew. I got to make a video on Braylon Presley. I'm going to make a video on him tomorrow. You guys, the world needs to know about Braylon. Going to Tulsa, hidden gem. Just hitting the gas. Just making dudes run into each other everywhere. It's like a movie. He's too fast for everybody, so they panic when they see him in the open field and they just over pursue. They can't tackle the little guy. He's phenomenal. And I know Tulsa's ecstatic to actually get him, to get a hometown kid who won a bunch of state titles to come back and put on their uniform. Look at that. Juke that dude. I'm out. He's so fast. If he's going to go to the NFL, it's as a punt returner. He's too little to play. He can't be a running back. He's too little. 5'8", 160. But if you want to know a little playmaker that was in the portal and everybody missed on him, well, he wasn't interested in going anywhere but going back home. But my goodness, Just breakaway speed. Just incredible. It had to be a nightmare to try to tackle this little guy. I'm being real. Look at him. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they had him. They had him. Not anymore. He's at a different speed, y'all. It's incredible. Get a chance. Go watch Braylon Presley. Go watch his tape. And he's got a brother. I think it's Braxton Presley. It had to be nice to be a teammate. You just know you're going to win. Anyways, let me put the toys away here. Shout out to Willie Bobo for asking the question. Is Braylon Presley going to the NFL? That's a funny question. Can he make it in the league? He can make it as a special teamer. He's an offensive guy. He doesn't play defense. But being 5'7", 155, that young man, the odds are stacked against him. Just so we're clear. If I'm being realistic, and I'm always being realistic. But yeah, Braylon Presley, stud of a player, going to Tulsa. Opinions on Alton McCaskill tweeting out the clock. Yeah, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. Have some in and out for dinner. All right. Whatever I'm doing, when I see your live notification, I have to check to see your content. Drop a like, show some love. You're going to blow up. I appreciate your knowledge. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Rises75. And yeah, man, that's the kind of impact I want to have on you guys. I want you guys to share the content. Make sure people get out there and find it. We are new to YouTube, but I am a known commodity in the TikTok community. It's just hard trying to start in a whole nother social media platform where no one knows you. It's only going to get out there by word of mouth. It's only going to get out there by you guys sharing the content. And we'll make believers 100 people at a time, right? That's what we do. Every time I talk, there's 100 people in the room, and I don't mind. I'm glad you guys are here. So keep it up. Appreciate you, Rises. Thanks for always checking in on us. Elijah Brown would be a nice addition. He has just got to get better with his blocking. So Zion, I don't think he's a nice addition at all. He's a very small tight end. He's 210, 220 pounds max. He doesn't need to get better at blocking. He doesn't do it. He's not a blocker. The only reason people think he's a nice addition is because he went to Alabama. But he's not good. He's third string at Alabama, and all the tight ends at Alabama are terrible. I'm going to say it. They suck. You know how bad they are? The backup tight end at Maryland, C.J. Dippre, shows up, and he's the starter now. If a backup tight end from Maryland can transfer in and be relevant, how good are the tight ends in your room? This is a backup at Maryland. No. Just because you went to Alabama doesn't mean you're a nice addition to the team by any means. I hope that kid goes back to Ohio, tries to enroll at Cincinnati, goes to Kent State. I hope he transfers to a group of 5 school and plays football. He's not this prize that you guys want. He's just not. I've watched the tape. Just because the name is associated with the school, it irks me when you guys do that. I thought Yelverton was already on the Buffs. I'm not familiar with that. I think Coach Prime is going to give out and fill out the rest of the roster after the camp they have at the end of the month to walk-on and JUCO players. So, Daddy Bryant, it's not walk-on and JUCO players. There are transfer portal players in there. I know several that have gotten invites. They've reached out to me. We've talked on TikTok. I am in contact with a lot of players that are invited to the postgraduate camp, and I think obviously they're going to fill out the roster there, but there's only like 10 scholarships left. So slim pickings to begin with. Some of those guys are borderline going to make the team and be relevant for a year or two, just going to fill out the roster. But it's good. It's practice bodies. It's fine. The roster's pretty close to done. So they need to find a kicker. Hey, Rico, is there a kicker out there that can put a little elevation in the ball? Love the show and info. Grips. I don't know, man. I'm not a kicking expert. I don't know much about the kicker world. I've never really evaluated kickers other than reading their stats. When I watch film, I couldn't tell you which kicker is better than others. There's a limitation to my greatness in that regard. I can evaluate punters, but they have a great punter. I don't know anything about other kickers. Cole Becker was great. Cole Becker, the kid who left to Utah, he was a good kicker, and there isn't a good one now. So it is what it is. Man, you mentioned Navy. Come on, man. It's anybody. It's any team. I'm referring to schemes. When I mentioned Navy, it was a scheme. I could have said any other team that doesn't run a pass-heavy offense, right? Run-heavy. Ball State. They had one of the leading rushers in the country in Carson Steele, and now they have Marquez Cooper just transferred in from K-State. They're not throwing to tight ends. Who's tight end friendly? Michigan, Georgia, USC, Ole Miss. You know the tight end friendly teams. You know them. South Carolina, Florida State. You know who they are. Utah. So it's just a known thing. Navy, BYU, Air Force do not pass the football. They don't use pass catching tight ends. Tight ends these days want the bag like receivers. The game has evolved, bro. Come on, man. Are you trying to tell me the game has evolved? Like, Dupree Hundo, you're not having a conversation with one of your buddies at the barbershop. I'm not one of your buddies on a porch somewhere. I'm not one of your boys on the couch playing Madden. I know the game. I know it's evolved. I talk about this every single day. Come on, man. Darnell Washington blocked, but also got his share of receptions too. And that's because Georgia doesn't throw to wide receivers. They only throw to tight ends. It's called checkdowns. Their quarterback couldn't get it anywhere else. It's an offensive thing. It's an offensive scheme. It's not, they need the bag. They want the bag. Tight ends need to be throwing the ball. No. There are some offenses that throw to tight ends, and there are some that don't. If you're a pass-catching tight end, you don't go to Mississippi State. Because they don't throw to tight ends. There was 14 receivers caught passes. Not one was a tight end. Same for recruiting, Rico. Really changed my perspective on that as well. Waste of time. Thank you to JT. Thank you, JT, for understanding. Yes. It's not a waste of time for universities. It's a waste of time for fans to study it and worry about it and get excited for it and all this. Just stop. Get informed on the players on the team. Get informed on the transfer portal. And get informed on your recruiting class that has committed to you, not the rumors. The rumors are terrible. But yeah, totally. The high school defensive tackle from high school in Georgia in trouble. I don't know what you're talking about, Darren Jennings. It's a little too vague for me. I apologize. Charles Kelly is overrated as an FSU fan. He was one of our worst defense coordinators. This is true. This is very true, Hundo. He was, but people do improve. Coaches do get better. Lane Kiffin got better. It took years, but Lane Kiffin got better. I believe Sarkisian's better. Coaches get better. Give them time if they get the opportunity and they do well. You know, when a coach sucks and I'm going to put it out there, when a black coach, an African-American coach, gets an opportunity and then he doesn't do well and he gets fired, the entire black community gets up in arms and says he had a short leash. He didn't get a chance to learn, prove himself, and he doesn't get a second shot. Why are we vouching or why are we advocating for second chances? If every time a coach gets a second chance, all we do is refer to their first chance. All we ever do is say how bad they sucked the first time they were a coach. Are we not here trying to say that they will be better if given another chance? So what I'm saying is Charles Kelly was not good the first time. Will he be better this time around? Everybody's advocating for everyone else to get a second chance. Here's a good old boy. He's going to get a second chance. Let's prove it. But some coaches aren't great out the block. Some coaches are not good in their first stop, and they get better and they learn. And we need to give people the opportunity to be better and do better. That's the case of every transfer, right? All these transfers, not all of them, some of these transfers just need a second chance to prove themselves to a different coaching staff, at a different organization, in a different location, in a different atmosphere. You might have lost once, but maybe you can do it again. Shout out to Will Levis. Shout out to guys, Joe Burrows, Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton. It goes on, and I could go forever on that. Jackson Dart. I'd go on forever about who transferred for a second chance. So some coaches, they might be better on their second chance, just so we know. Charles Kelly made Derwin James. I'm sorry, let me go back. Will Coach Prime have 2 extra scholarships since his sons? I already answered this question. Please do not repeat your questions. I am behind in chat on purpose. I will get to your questions when I get to them. Please, only once. Charles Kelly made Derwin James look average. This is true. I don't think he put him in positions to succeed is what it is. Where's Waldo? Don't know Waldo. Well, shout out to him. He's probably wearing a striped shirt. Kelly had no impact on Caleb Downs' decision. Brian Smith, what I'm saying is when you lose your defensive back coach, typically when you lose a positions coach, you lose recruits from that position group. They didn't lose recruits from that position group. What you're valuing there is not the position coach. What you're valuing is the pedigree to get players to the NFL. You're valuing Alabama. You're valuing the proximity to your school, right? So there's a bunch of metrics involved, but what you do is when you keep the positions coach or the primary recruiter in Charles Kelly, when you keep him in position through letter of intent through signature day, right? Through the 20th. And you stay there through December 20th, National Letter of Intent Day. That ensures the recruiting class stays intact. Because once somebody departs, it's not a unified front anymore. Now players start flipping. So the fact that Caleb Downs stayed, you just can't negate the value that Charles Kelly does for that recruiting class in its entirety. If Charles Kelly leaves and he's not there to finish out the recruiting class, let's say 2 or 3 other recruits leave because of that. Now 2 or 3 other guys flip and they're gone. Now that can impact somebody like Caleb Downs saying, oh, we just lost 2 or 3 other guys? Well, I want to go where they're going. Oh, they were my best friends in the recruiting class. They're leaving, I'm leaving. You don't know the trigger effect involved. And I've seen it happen to coaching staffs. I study this at length. I study recruiters like crazy. And I study their impact on recruits. And when they leave and depart, it's an amazing thing what can happen. This happened at LSU when they lost Mickey Joseph. Their wide receiver coach, stud of a player, as soon as he left the staff and joined Nebraska, not only did Trey Palmer go with him and leave, and now Nebraska had a 1,000-yard receiver in Trey Palmer, but Dakotas Crawford went up there, right? It just happens. And then when you lose Mickey Joseph, now Omarion Millers flips, and now he's going to Colorado because you lost Mickey Joseph. Losing a positions coach will impact a ton of recruits and future recruits. So not losing him before National Letter of Intent Day is a pretty big deal. It's rare. Most times you see the guys just bounce to their new job. Most times. Dennis Thurman is around watching Kelly. Yeah, we all assume that people have authority over others, but I don't think that's the case. Dennis Thurman's there, but Charles, that you can watch all you want, but there's somebody that has to implement their scheme. They're leading, and they're in charge of all the position groups. They're in charge of all the position group coaches. They're leading that. They're orchestrating that. That's how a defense coordinator works. You can have other advisors and other people around. That doesn't matter. When you have a defensive coordinator, they're the ones making the decisions for the defense. You can observe and watch and oversee and give advice and do this. It doesn't matter. You don't get to go in there and trump what the decision coordinator is doing. And even head coaches, they can. But most of the time, the head coach is just, at the end of the year, when you evaluate everything, you just say, hey, go get a new one. But in the moment, you got to have a unified front. You can't have a chink in your armor. You can't project that you don't agree with what the defensive coordinator is doing. That chink in your armor, that's a problem. That's what you guys are indicating, what you guys are referencing is not toxic, but you guys are implying and inferring a disjointed coaching staff. Like there isn't trust among the coaches. Like, hey, we got this guy to overwatch him in case he messes up. Well, what are we doing? That's not how it is. And if you want to know, I do talk to the Colorado coaching. I do have Colorado coaches that I talk to on TikTok. They're in my DMs. So what are we talking about? I believe they trust each other, believe in each other. They're building upon each other. It's not what you guys are implying. Oh, they got this guy to watch this guy. Like, no. Tight ends are used as modern-day fullbacks. The difference is the tight ends are bigger and better pass catchers than fullbacks. Fair enough. Look at all these rumors surrounding every day. Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. That's what he's doing here. Same thing with Lane Kiffin. Yep, same thing. What are your thoughts on Logan Diggs? My thoughts are on Logan Diggs. He's a good running back. He's either going to end up at LSU or South Carolina. He's on South Carolina. They're after him. South Carolina's trying to get him. South Carolina's struggling in the transfer portal this second half. So it is what it is. Not a Sarkisian fan, but Herman was not doing great at Texas and also acted like a clown. I don't know anything about a clown, Brian Smith, but he was doing great. He won 4 bowl games in a row. He had them in the top 10. It's just, you got to be realistic about your expectations. You got to give people time to cook. You got to give them a chance to get their recruiting classes in, and you just got to let them implement what they're doing. It's tough, man. People just forget about Charlie Strong. People forget about your down years. They just keep screaming about how they want to be Mac Brown national champs. It's frustrating. I don't think Herman was a bad coach. Texas can't get out of their own way. Exactly. CU staff is stacked. Someone brought up Dennis Thurman. He has NFL experience as a defense coordinator and player. Yeah, there's tons of coaches. Hold on, man. There are coaching staffs all over this country stacked. Don't do this. You guys, look, I'm a supporter of the program. I follow 133 teams. I'm telling you right now, Colorado's coaching staff is as stacked as any other major program's coaching staff. Not more, not less. They're all equivalent. Everybody's got a bunch of damn studs. You know who the running backs coach is at UCLA? Like, do you guys know? It's Deshaun Foster. Chip Kelly. I just talked about Ernie Sims as the linebackers coach at UCF. Like, it's a who's who everywhere. There are studs everywhere on coaching staffs. Don't get it twisted. So shout out to Colorado for having great offensive coordinators, great defensive coordinators, great assistant coaches, and all these guys with all this experience. It's everywhere. Every coaching staff has studs up in that piece. I'm telling you. I study this. You guys got to stop with the nonsense. Bro, most staffs have NFL ties. Exactly. I didn't even see what Dupree Hundo wrote. I didn't even know Dupree Hundo wrote that. Most. All. Andy Reid's son coaches and drinks. Hey, it is what it is. Do you think Colorado needs to get a backup quarterback that's not a freshman? Xavier Jones, I talk about this every single night. Quick. Who's Drake May's backup quarterback? Who? Who is backing up Frank Harris or Michael Penix Jr.? Who? Just start naming backups. There are very few teams with veteran backups. That's not a real thing. That's not a college thing. If you got a 5-star freshman, true freshman, it doesn't matter. If your starting quarterback goes down, your season is essentially over for 90% of college football teams. Doesn't matter. The backup quarterback is probably the least relevant position on a football team at the collegiate level. I'm being dead serious. You got superstar starters. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. If you got 2 guys competing for the position, you don't have a leader. You got 2 guys, you got to figure out who's got the hot hand today. You don't have a leader. You have a split locker room. No, they don't need a backup quarterback that's not a freshman. Who's backing up C.J. Williams? Caleb Williams. I know the answer to these questions. You guys are mistaking teams with an immense amount of depth for teams with a good starting 22, a good starting 11. Who was backing up Stetson Bennett last year? Carson Beck, bro. He's not a proven quarterback. That's not it. It's not how it works. Who was backing up C.J. Stroud? It's like people who've never played football. You guys want to find a backup that's older, but it doesn't matter who the backup is. They've never played football. They're not on the field. I don't care if they're a freshman or a junior. They're not on the field. Whoever your backup is isn't playing. This isn't the NFL where you get an experienced backup behind the rookie. This is college. It's seniority. The senior starts, the older guy starts, the more experienced player starts, and then the backups have never seen the field. They might have some stars to their names. They ain't seen the field. That's 90% of college football teams. Easy. Who's backing up Dylan Gabriel? Who's backing up Rice Plumlee? John Rice Plumlee. Who's backing up E.J. Warner at Temple? You can go to any team. Who's backing up Drew Allar? Who was backing up Sean Clifford last year? Who's backing up Will Levis last year? Who's backing up AR-15? Come on, guys. Why do you hate the NBA, Rico? I hate everything it stands for. I hate the organization. I really don't like the players. I find the product boring. But I really hate the NBA as an organization. I'm not cool with it at all. Xavier Jones, Danny O'Neal from Indy coming, freshman, incoming in is nice. Yeah, so when you start talking about incoming freshmen like that, I don't care about verbal commits. Don't care. Doesn't mean anything to me. You got to get it signed and get in the room. When they get there, I still don't care about it. freshmen enrolling at your program, the 80% of the transfer portal this spring were redshirt freshmen. So even when you get to the school, you never even play. You just redshirt that first year, and then the coach discontinues the scholarship, doesn't renew it, and you end up in the transfer portal. That's why the recruiting class doesn't matter to me. I just showed everybody an Auburn recruiting class. There's only 3 people left from Auburn's 2021 recruiting class. The 37th ranked recruiting class in the country has 3 people left at Auburn. 2021. 2 years later, 3 guys left on the team. I do not get excited about recruits. They just leave. I get excited about who plays on the field. I get excited about the production you're going to have from the guys on the field. It's just how I get down. For a freshman, I thought quarterback Ryan Staub looks good. It doesn't matter. He's not going to play. Pops is exhausted, working outside all day, digging up sprinklers. Ooh, these guys are putting in sprinklers. Shout out to these Mexicans, bro. Jamie Foxx is up against the big brother. Uh-oh. Does he have COVID? Does he have his vaccines? If you put your name in the transfer portal and withdraw, can you still be a part of the school as a student? Yeah, you're always a student until the end of the school year. You're a student until the end of your semester. Even when you get in the portal, you still finish out that semester on your scholarship. You withdraw, you're still a student. Doesn't matter. What's the chances of Colorado's offense averaging 100-plus plays a game throughout the season? Not very good. Not very good. I think it's unrealistic. 100-plus plays a game. What are we doing? That's hilarious. Kendall Briles is a good offensive coordinator. You sleep. I like Kendall Briles. What you talking about? Dupree? Facts. Sorry. Let's go back up. You guys, hey, we're going to be here all night. Thanks for talking to me, guys. It's cool. I don't mind. Are most of y'all in chat from TikTok? I don't know where these guys are from. I couldn't tell you. I'm going to help you with transitions on OBS so you don't have to adjust. I'm good. I don't like transitions. I'll just drag my boxes and move. I like adjusting. Is Alden McCaskill in Colorado this weekend? I saw his tweet. It doesn't matter. See his tweet when he commits. I don't worry about the rest. Landon Curtis, yes, he is. Good video today, Rico. Thank you. Baby Darren Sproles. Oh, you guys are watching Braylon Presley? Dude's a beast. About to say the same thing. Yeah, baby Darren Sproles. Yeah, see, the younger generation calls him Darren Sproles. I call him Barry Sanders. I think the dude is nice. I subscribe to you because you don't just spread bullcrap. You do the research and give opinions based on facts. Got to respect it. Thank you very much. And I want you guys to know it's hard to do. It takes discipline. When somebody asks me a question, oftentimes I want to have a knee-jerk reaction and give my answer. But if I give you an immediate answer, that's because I've already done the research on that particular question. Like I already assessed enough and got enough information to answer it intelligently. But there'll be times where I go, hey, I owe you an answer on that. Give me a second. I'll write it down. Right? I'll write it down. Hey, I don't know that. Because I won't fake the funk. But more importantly, I will never just spout something off that's subjective. I shouldn't say never. I try not to, or I'll declare it. And I'll say, hey, guys, this is just my opinion. But I am largely based on fact. I am hugely based on case studies or proof or something of that nature. I'm all about it. And my ability to find it, retain it, and then apply it, that's the gift. But I do not just sit here and just start, you know what, the best 3 quarterbacks are, and then just start laying it off. What I will say is, well, the best 3 statistical quarterbacks are going to be this guy, this guy, and this guy. And here's why. Offensive scheme, offensive coordinator, and their schedule. And I'll go on all day long. I can do that all day. But I can't just sit here and have who's the top 10? I was just watching, I read this thing today. They were talking about the top 10 college programs of all time. And if we were sitting here talking about the top 10 college programs of all time, number 1, Alabama, number 2, USC. And then they had number 3, Notre Dame. And I know some people might feel some type of way about that, but when you're talking about all time, you know what's unique? And here's a little thing here. You know what's unique about Notre Dame and USC? They have never scheduled an FCS opponent in the history of their school. Now, this year, I think Notre Dame has an FCS opponent. So they're going to be out of it. But then USC has never played an FCS opponent, ever. They won't put them on the schedule. I think that's fascinating. Every single school in the whole wide world has done an FCS opponent, but not USC? Man, them elitist. I'm just saying. OJ Howard says, hi from Alabama. Word. Things that make you go, Hey, this guy's out here. CNC Music Factory. Hey, CC Music Factory. Willie Bobo has been quoting old music with everything he writes. Shout out to him. I think once Fiora is back from injury, CU will be fine at tight end. This could be true, especially in Lewis's O. Okay. Good video today. Keep it up. I'll be heading off to the gym. See you tomorrow on live or Monday after your weekend break. Thank you very much. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Saptarshi Ray. Hey, shout out to you, Ray. I don't know if that's a male or a female, but happy birthday. I don't know how old you are. If you're turning 21, just remember this. You're going to be over 21 for the rest of your life. No need to drink. You can drink for the rest of your life. You ain't got to do it all in one day. Just some advice there. Rico, did you like Zach Branch film when you watched it? Don't remember the name. Don't remember the film. I'll have to go back and look again. Zach Branch. I owe you an answer on that. Maybe if I look him up and I look at his face, I'll remember his tape. So, yo, Rico, I'm big on the wing T formation. Why don't teams run it? Well, teams learned to stop the wing T with something called spilling. When you wrong shoulder a kick-out block, you cause a spill, meaning you make the back bounce. So if defensive ends stopped getting kicked out by the pulling guard, when you don't get a kick out and now you can't run underneath it, which is primarily the only reason wing T is effective, is kick out blocks, pulling guards and kick out blocks, and then your back comes underneath it. When you wrong shoulder the kick out, it forces that back to then bounce by himself. And because you have a corner out here, or you have an outside linebacker that knows their defensive end is going to cause it to spill, you're now no longer effective, especially going to the short side of the field. So if you're in the middle of the field, you got kind of a chance. But once you're on a hash, you can't run the wing T to the short side of the field because you're going to get spilled out of bounds. You get a 2-3 yard gain. So there's a strategy involved there to stopping the wing T. If I was a defensive coordinator and I was up against a wing T offense, they would get 0 first downs. They would be stuffed. If I saw tape and I had my team, I don't care how good my guys are, it ain't happening because you won't be able to block it. You won't be able to block it the way you envision. So there's that. Wing T's got limited effectiveness to defensive coordinators who have learned how to wrong shoulder pulling guards. You got a wrong shoulder pulling guard. Instead of keeping your outside shoulder free, maintain outside contain, don't do that. Wrong shoulder it and make it bounce, and your linebacker will come and get it in the alley. Just some coaching 101. I'll stay away from that talk. I get a little carried away. I am an offense and defensive coordinator minded person. I have done a lot of coaching in my life, and I've watched a lot of film, and I know how to coach. Just don't do it right now. Shout out to whoever wants to hire me. Anyways, Mata going to be a great kicker at CU in the future. Yeah, Kev, I don't think so. I think Mata struggles with getting his kicks elevated. They come out really low every single kick I've seen. I watch him in Buford. I watch him at Jackson State. And now I watch him here at Colorado. I've seen practice. I've watched kicks. They get blocked. His kicks get blocked. The only one he misses are when they're blocked because they're low. They don't get the right elevation, just so we know. You're the best at this game. Always learn something. Shout out to you, Colin Payne. Thank you very much. Jediah Walker to A&M, Division II guy. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Grand Valley State? Oh, my God. Don't say that. Jediah Walker just went. They're just trying to get anybody. Don't say Jediah Walker just went to. Oh, my God. You guys don't understand how big of a deal this is. The reason this is a big deal. Yeah, look at. I want to show you guys something. I didn't know that. Look at that. I'm typing in his name right now, and it's purple. I don't know if you guys see the color on there, but it's purple because I've already looked him up before. It's purple. Okay? Commits to A&M. No. Let me explain. There's a guy on my TikTok. He is from Michigan, and he's adamant that there are 2 Grand Valley State players that can play at the next level, and one of them is Jediah Walker. And he's like, Rico, make a video on him. Make a video on him. He's in the transfer portal. I'm like, I'll make a video when he commits. And I'm thinking he's going to go to Ball State. I'm thinking he's going to go here. And I went and watched everything. I looked him up and everything. I'm slightly embarrassed because now he's in the SEC and and the only reason he got this offer, let's be clear, Tyron Smith went back in the portal after transferring from UTEP, little 5'7", bundle of joy. He transferred from UTEP, went to A&M for like 2 weeks, said, hey, man, I'm really having second thoughts about this. Jumps back in the portal, goes back to UTEP. He still hasn't signed there. I think he's waiting to see his NIL money. But Yeah. Ja'Day Walker. Wow. That guy's going to let me have it. Oh, boy. That's hilarious. Shout out to you, Trent. Thanks for catching that, man. I'll have to make a video on it. It's freaking nuts. Rico, I think at Darren Jennings is referring to Omar White out of Valdosta, who is facing charges for a shooting. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Omar White. Wrong stuff happened. I'll have to look into it, but thanks for the heads up. So, verbal commit to Colorado, stud out of Valdosta. What's your thought on freshman CU defensive back Carter Stoutmire? So if you guys don't know, Carter Stoutmire is the son of former NFL corner Damon Stoutmire. Carter Stoutmire was going to go to Arizona, and then once Coach Prime got the job at Colorado, he flipped. And he's coming to play, with his dad's teammate, Kevin Mathis. Kevin Mathis, the defensive backs coach, was a teammate with Coach Prime and a teammate with Omar Stoutmire. So Stoutmire's son, Carter Stoutmire's here. I think he's a good player. I think he should redshirt. I think he should continue to develop. He and Caleb Mathis, they're the same caliber of young man. I think they just need to chill, continue to grow, and be better. And maybe they'll be NFL players in 3 years. So I'm excited for it. I like the lineage. I like the legacy players. I like guys following and trusting other men to raise their kids and all that other stuff. So I love it. Colorado's easiest bet you can make at 3.5, where you can make 42% profit. Yeah, so the over-under for Colorado is 3.5 games, according to the sports line. I told you guys, I will literally put $5,000 on that. I will. And I don't gamble. I don't have a sports book here in Georgia because it's not legal here, but I will travel wherever I need to, and I will put $5,000 of my own money. I'm not rich. I got money. I got $5,000. I can put that on Colorado in a heartbeat. I'm letting you know that right now. 3.5, that number's going to move at some point. You and Coach Pollock are boys. Sean Camp, shout out to you, man. Yeah, Coach Pollock on the coaching staff at Colorado, offensive assistant. We do know each other well. We do talk. We do share each other. We send each other DMs or post messages, and he gave me a shout out in a couple videos. So, yeah, shout out to Coach Pollock. I watched his speech to the players for 20 minutes. He motivated me to put my cell phone on the other side of the room. People don't get how good Colorado will be this year. I think they do. Thanks for the insightful take on Charles Kelly. On the flip side, how are you feeling about Sean Lewis? Again, apologies. Already discussed many times over John Shen. I think he's great. I've talked about it in many videos. What I recommend you do is when you go to my channel on YouTube here, click on the live streams. Just click on live, not the videos. Go to live and go watch all my other lives. Just watch all of them. There's hours in there. You're going to learn a ton about the players and transfer portal and obviously Colorado and what I think about the coaching staff, Sean Lewis specifically. Tom Brady and Drew Henson, Matt Leinart and Matt Castle. Yeah. What are we doing here? Oh, you're talking about backups with no playing time. Yeah, Matt Leinart was the starter the whole time. Matt Castle never played. It was real. Okay. Rico's right knows. So sorry about that. That messed up. Rico's right. No one's worried about Malachi Nelson right now. Exactly. Since Arkansas State football have a good transfer portal update, how many games will go give? How many games do I think Arkansas State's going to win? They're starting JT Shrout. That's a Tennessee quarterback. Transferred to Colorado. Was the starting quarterback in Colorado last year, and now he transferred to Arkansas State. Butch Jones is the head coach. They just lost their leading receiver in Seydou Traore. Arkansas State did have a good transfer portal class. Not great, but good for them. But they're winning 3 games every year. I haven't even looked at the schedule, but I'm telling you right now, Arkansas State, they play in the Sun Belt. Arkansas State plays in the Sun Belt. This is not a good team. Arkansas State football schedule 2023. I've looked at the schedule before. I think somebody might have asked me about this. That's crazy. Who else has asked me about this? Which one of you guys asked me about this? Let's go. Here we are. They start at Oklahoma. They're losing. Memphis, they're losing. They're beating Stony Brook. Southern Miss, they're losing. UMass, coin flip. Let me know what happens there. They're losing to Troy. They're losing to Coastal Carolina. Hey, they can beat ULM. They're going to be down. Losing. Yeah, they got 3 games at best, man. 3 games. 3 games for Arkansas State. Again, let me know if they do any better. I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know. We'll see. Back to what I was saying here. Let's go here. I know you're not asking, but I will back you and your twins brothers 100%. I get down like that. I appreciate you, Willie Bobo. I'm a grown man. I'm a physical force. I'm a weapon. Yeah, I don't need anybody to back me. Branch. Zachary Branch. No questions, no answers. I got nothing for you. Happy birthday. I finally caught you on YouTube. I still watch TikTok primarily. Boar, shout out to you. It is not my birthday, but shout out to you. Thanks for being here. I like guys who go from, I'm trying to get, I got 53,000 people on TikTok, and I get 2 million views a damn week. And if we can just get 10% of them over here, we'll have 5,000. 10% over here, we'll have 5. I'm not begging for it. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Know what I'm saying? Willie Bobo, I will always have Rico's back too. Shout out to you. Yes, sir. Wrong shoulder is commonly taught these days. There you go, Trent. Trent knows what I'm talking about. Mata, not good. Do Army or Navy or Air Force run the wing T? They run the triple option. It's not the wing T. Indications of the wing T is when you see a running back kind of doing this hopping motion in an arced hopping motion. That's the standard wing T. But yeah, you don't see it anymore. It's right up there with the wishbone. You don't see it anymore. This Mac Attack 89. All right, shout out to you, Mac. Good to see you, brother. Stanford is about to have a breakout season. The Pac-12 is in trouble. David Antonio about to commit. I know where. Okay, is he committing to Stanford? Because that's a hell of a target for Stanford, and that's pretty good news for them. I don't think they're going to have a breakout season by any means, just so we're clear. Carter is 6'2", 197, runs a 10.6. He's improving. I have high hopes for him. Yeah, I want him to keep working out, and I want him to be somebody. Yeah, I like the kid a lot. How do I get in on that 3.5 action? Yeah, you got to find it, Twitch. Find it. Ja'Day Walker's signing was also fueled by the Chris Marshall dismissal. Too bad CU won't take a chance on Chris Marshall or Jai Hall. Yeah, no, Chris Marshall was at Ole Miss, not Texas A&M. He already transferred away from Texas A&M, so that had nothing to do with the dismissal of Chris Marshall this offseason. It had to do with Texas A&M does not have a lot of scholarships. Texas A&M signed huge recruiting classes and is dumping players in the transfer portal. They cannot sign a lot of players in the transfer portal. They don't have the scholarships. The guys they're actually getting from the transfer portal were preferred walk-ons. So Texas A&M, well, let me do this. On 3. And then we're going to go. Anytime I go to on 3, guys, I don't like to pull up the team like this. It doesn't look right. You got to go up here to transfer portal team rankings first. Click on any team you want. And then you can pick the team. And it'll give you a better printout. It gives you more control. I had to learn this because it just doesn't look good when you do it any other way. So I'm going to Texas A&M. Pay attention to their transfers coming in. What you see here are 1, 2, he's already gone. 3, this is a preferred walk-on. So they have 3, 4, 5 scholarships, 6 scholarship players coming in. 6. And how many did they lose? Well, I can tell you, 32. Okay, look at all these guys. They cleared out a ton of people. And the reason is not they're not getting playing time, none of that stuff. It's because their recruiting classes are enormous. They're signing 25 to 30 guys out of high school. So they got to make room. They need people to leave. And they can't bring in a ton of guys. This one surprised me, getting David Bailey. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But, man, A&M, it's just crazy. Watch out for my Georgia Eagles this year to win the Fun Belt. And he's talking about Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern Eagles, they got a hell of an offense. They're doing a lot of great things with Helton and getting a guy like Clay Helton as a head coach, getting good transfers at quarterback coming in. Davis Brin, Bo Allen, J.C. French, 3 really good quarterbacks. I think Brin's got the job. And then having a guy like Jalen White at running back, having O.J. Arnold at running back. They have some really good players, and they were 5th in the nation in passing last year. So Clay Helton, actually a pretty good coach, former USC head coach, actually does really well on the offensive side of the ball. So they're airing it out. They're copying Western Kentucky as far as passing goes. They're copying Western Kentucky's offense. And if you didn't know, their head coach is Tyson Helton. That's Clay's brother. So the two brothers are talking, exchanging notes, and we're transforming Georgia Southern into a passing offense. Unfortunately for them, they lost their 3 best secondary members. They lost Derek Canteen to Virginia Tech. They lost Bride. He's still in the portal right now. He's a good player. We'll see where he goes. And then they lost Anthony Wilson to West Virginia. So they got a lot to catch up on. It is what it is. JT Shroud at Arkansas State is going to be a problem. Shroud is about to shred defensive part. Here we go. What up? Van Treese was a stud at quarterback for us last season. Yeah, and the reason Van Treese was so remarkable as a stud was because, well, he wasn't very good at Buffalo. But he got in the right system, and he started throwing it, and all these quarterbacks saw that, and that's why they got these 3 quarterbacks coming over to Georgia Southern. They saw what he can do. Jared Van Treese finished 5th in the nation in passing. 5th. It's absurd. It's a who's who at the top. It's like a bunch of great names. Caleb Williams and Michael Penix Jr. and Austin Reed and Frank Harris. And then it's Jared Van Treese. You're like, what the hell? Good video, Nike. Check it out. So why were teams so turned off by Levis? Well, Twitch, I don't think he's very likable. They've never seen him play good. His best game ever was a loss to Tennessee in 2021. The guy's not good. Not a good football player. If he is, it was hard to tell. He's always on his back. The offensive line was terrible. So how do you assess his skills and traits? All I know is he did not beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State. If you can't beat out Sean Clifford, why are we drafting you? He's a second-round draft pick, so he's going to have the spot on the roster. But if he was a seventh-round draft pick and he had to earn his spot on the roster, he wouldn't have won. He wouldn't have beat out a third-string quarterback to get the spot. Understand what I'm saying? Sean Clifford, the Packers drafted him in the 6th round. Watch him win a spot because he knows how to battle and win a battle. He won the damn Rose Bowl, too. I'm just saying. Shout out to Ash in the background. You guys see that little girl? She's just out here discovering what's going on. All right. Much more. Levis, too much of a me guy. More concerned about his gun. There we go. Well, now that we've gotten through all the chat, I'm going to take you guys, and I'm sorry we've been going so long. I'm going to take you guys to over here. We're going to talk transfer portal real fast before I let you guys go. Something I want to talk about in the transfer portal if we're looking. All right, let's see what we got here. Jadis Gear coming over from Syracuse. This just updated right now. He wasn't there earlier. From Syracuse to South Carolina. This is significant. He's actually not a top-tier defensive end. Coming over, he had 3.5 sacks this year. He is 6'6", 230. He grew up in South Carolina. Didn't have an offer from South Carolina out of high school. One of like the top 15 players in the state, but didn't have an offer from South Carolina. So he went up to Syracuse for a couple years, and now he's coming back home. So shout out to him. Getting off already. Goodbye. Shout out to you. Sorry for running so late, guys. Give me a second here. I just want to say bye to all the right people. The other thing about... We're good. We're good on time. Why is everybody pressing me? The other thing about South Carolina is they got to find this other guy. They got another guy, and he's from Charlotte. They got a lineman. Let me see if it's here. No, that's that. Let me see. What's his name? Greer. Jadius Gear. No, that was that guy. That was the defensive end. Who's the other guy? Charlotte. I got it. There it is. So they got this offensive tackle. And he's a starting offensive tackle, Jackson Hughes, at Charlotte. But here's what you guys got to know. He started 37 games, right? Or no, they lost guys who started 37 games. But here's what I'm trying to tell you about this guy. They didn't want him. They just signed him today, but they didn't want him. They wanted Muskrat, okay? South Carolina wanted Muskrat, but they had to settle on Jackson Hughes. Now, they needed help at offensive tackle. But Muskrat goes and commits to Auburn out of Tulsa just yesterday, and that's a domino effect at that point. Remember what I told you guys? Hey, Muskrat's going to choose what school he wants to go to, and then the kid from Notre Dame will have to figure out where he's going to go after that. But I didn't even think about Charlotte. Because I didn't know they were interested in him. Independent. These guys say, who the hell they say is independent? They're not all independent teams. There's Notre Dame. Give me a second. So you still have one offensive tackle out here waiting for an offer, and that's Caleb Johnson. Waiting to see what school he picks. So I thought Caleb Johnson was going to South Carolina. Instead, they get the Charlotte kid. They didn't want him. They wanted Muskrat, who went to Auburn. This is a backup signing. So it is what it is, just so people know. Jamin Harmon, this is the second Kent State guy to go to Ball State. First one was Marquez Cooper, the running back. Now you got a defensive back coming home. He's from Indiana. He's from right down the street at Ball State. He didn't have an offer coming out of high school. 2-star guy. Went to Kent State, which is in Ohio, And then he came back. Now he's coming back home, right outside of Indianapolis. So shout out to him. A.J. Henning, I laugh at. I laugh at this move right here. A.J. Henning leaves. He's a two-time all-conference kickoff returner, leaving Michigan. And he said, and I quote, "If they're throwing, I'm going." That's what he said. If they're throwing, I'm going. When he hit the transfer portal, he was letting everybody know he was interested in being a wide receiver and going to a school where they throw more. Well, you're going to Northwestern. And yes, they just got Ben Bryant, the quarterback from Cincinnati. So they're going to throw, I guess. They were terrible last year at passing. But to say if they're throwing, I'm going, it's crazy to me. He's going back home. He's from Illinois. So he's going back home to Northwestern. But I thought he was going to go to a school that's throwing. This is not throwing. This is not it. So it's just false advertisement. I can't get down with it. Dylan Goffney, wide receiver right here, leaving SMU. You know what's cool about Dylan Goffney? He's going to be he's a more senior Latin dude. I think he has 2 years of eligibility left. Last year, he caught maybe 30 passes. Maybe 30. He averaged over 20 yards a catch. Are you kidding? Maybe 15 catches, 15 passes, because he had over 300 yards receiving. 20 yards of reception. But when you put on the tape, you think, oh, 20 yards. This guy's a deep threat. This guy's fast. He's not a burner. He's just a bigger body, 6'1", 220. He's kind of just tough. Just one of them tough guys. But going to Colorado State, they need wide receivers. Shout out to Colorado State. They are sneakily getting players that nobody's paying attention to. They got another guy. They got a running back from North Dakota State. They got North Dakota State's leading rusher. And he's actually really good. Cole? Is his name Cole? Kobe Johnson right here. The leading rusher from North Dakota State. 965 yards rushing for the national champs or runner-ups. And 7.5 yards a carry. 9 touchdowns. He's at Colorado State. And it's important that he went there because they just lost their starting running back. Well, they lost him last year, really. I can tell you about this guy. Let me just find him real quick. Where is he at? Come on, buddy. There he is. David Bailey, one of the few guys that A&M has given an offer to. David Bailey was a starting running back at Colorado State last year. And after like 4 games, the third game, swear to you, just quit the team. He wanted to save his red shirt. He just quit the team. This is the starting running back. I was like, what is he doing? He had been at Boston College for 3 years, rushed for 700, 800 yards or so. In 2021 at Colorado State, he rushed for 800 yards, 700 yards. But you get Jay Norvell come in, a new head coach, and he starts using a running back by committee. He starts giving you only 6 or 7 carries a game. And David Bailey gets upset that he's not the primary back anymore, or that there's a running back by committee, and he's like, I'm leaving. And he just leaves school. Red flag for me. This is the perfect Texas A&M running back. He's 6 foot, 225 pounds. He's a big power back. This is perfect for A&M. I hope he gets in the rotation. I hope they make the best of him. Let me tell you why I don't like David Bailey as a running back, though. He has 549 carries in his career. 549. You want to talk about wear and tear at the collegiate level? That's right now, with one more season to go, that's as many as Bijan Robinson had. Okay? When you talk about Israel Abanikanda out of Pitt, my number 1 running back, right? I really like the guy. He had only 390 carries in college. 3 years, 390. You got to do load management with these running backs. You cannot run them into the ground like Mo Ibrahim. They'll go undrafted. So this man, to leave Colorado State last year after 3 games, huge red flag for me. So, transfer portal, whatever. Other than that, there's no other updates in the portal. It's a really light day in the portal. Obviously, that was Israel, or that was somebody else I wanted to talk about, but oh well. I closed it. Hey guys, hell of a show. Thanks for talking with me all night. Let's go back to the chat real quick before we call it a night. Lev is too much of a me guy. Getting off already. Bama got a cornerback, Trey Amos from Raging Cajuns. You think that a want or a need for Alabama. It's definitely a need, but people need to understand, if you can start at Louisiana and Alabama's asking you for the transfers, all those guys on your bench, all those guys on your team are not good. They're not good. They missed in recruiting. They're not good. Their corners are not as deep as they think. Just being real. Trent says, I can't wait for Jedi Walker video. Trent, you're the guy who told me this, right? You're the one who told me about Jedi Walker? Yeah, what college team you feel is a hidden gem, not just one player, but as a team? Hidden gem meaning nobody knows about them, nobody's looking at them? For me, the team out there that's a hidden gem that they can just build greatness, for me it's been years, it's been UTSA. It's been Texas San Antonio. But now if I have to pick a new one, I'll go with Texas State. They're a hidden gem. Texas State. Anyone that leads North Dakota State in rushing is a stud. Fair. Colorado State also had to suspend their leading rusher, Avery Morrow, due to legal trouble for beating up another student. Yup, I'm aware. Nonetheless, hey guys, thanks for hanging with us tonight. I'm glad we could have a great discussion about the transfer portal, about football in general. I'm glad all of you guys were a part of the show. Everybody did their part. And just remember, if you ever run into somebody and they don't know something about sports, just remember, Rico knows. Thank you.
Know me, write it to life like I'm Stan Lee. If life's about to be a Cold War, I'm the hero that they asked for. Great. I'm about to go. Great. I'm about to go. Great. I'm about to go. Great. Get the fuck back. I'm about to go. Great.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had won it off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one time, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me,